Emperor Sha was well known as one of the top 5 experts in the magic dragon field. In the magic dragon field, who would dare to cause trouble for him except for the magic dragon lord? Jian Wushuang was different. He was only a principal's master, and he had just become famous. Moreover, he had the principal's supreme treasure divine sword, so it was not surprising that he was targeted. It's the 4 of them. Emperor Sha had recognized the 4 approaching people through his soul power. He immediately frowned and said, "Master, I'm afraid we're in trouble." "Trouble? Do you think I'm afraid of trouble in the eternal dark prison?" Jian Wushuang smiled. Emperor Sha was stunned. He immediately thought of Jian Wushuang's identity and felt relieved. Soon, the 4 people appeared in front of Jian Wushuang and Emperor Sha. They were 2 men and 2 women. Their auras were extremely powerful. The leader was an enchanting woman in a red robe. "Master, these 4 are experts around Demon Dragon Lord. Each of them is extremely powerful. They can be called the strongest experts in the dark zones. The leader, Red One, is no weaker than me in terms of strength," Emperor Sha said softly. "Yes, I know all of them." Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. He had already obtained information about some of the top experts in the Demon Dragon realm. The 4 people in front of him were all around Demon Dragon Lord. The red-robed woman, Red One, was the most famous and powerful one. The rest of them, including the Dark Fire Ruler, Demon King Myriad Bones, and Marquis Sushin, all of them had the battle strength of the strongest experts in the dark zones. They were no weaker than Thousand-Edge Demon Monarch and Blood Rain Demon Monarch. "They must have come to find me on the order of Demon Dragon Lord." Jian Wushuang smiled faintly. "It seems that my presence has attracted the attention of Demon Dragon Lord. However, he didn't come in person. He only sent 4 experts under his command." Jian Wushuang hoped that Demon Dragon Lord would come in person, but apparently he did not. "Emperor Sha, don't expose the fact that you've become my slave," Jian Wushuang said. "Understood." Emperor Sha nodded. At this moment, the eyes of the 4 experts were fixed on Jian Wushuang and Emperor Sha. The aura of the principal's master's divine power and his appearance are the same. He should be Blood Sword Master. The red-robed charming woman, Red One, glanced at Jian Wushuang with a strange light in her eyes. Then she looked at Emperor Sha, who was beside her. "Emperor Sha? He's with the Blood Sword Master." Red One frowned slightly. Emperor Sha was famous in the magic dragon field, and his strength was no weaker than hers. In the entire magic dragon field, even if the magic dragon lord attacked him personally, he might not be able to kill him. If Emperor Sha was standing beside the Blood Sword Master, it would be a big trouble for her. "Red One, the other 3, why aren't you following Demon Dragon Overlord's side? Why are you here?" Ruler Emperor Sha crossed his hands behind his back as he calmly stared at the 4 people before him. "Emperor Sha, we're not here for you. We're here for Blood Sword Master," Ruler Red One said. "Are you here for Blood Sword?" Ruler Emperor Sha pretended to be deep in thought. "Why are you looking for him?" "My lord heard that an incredible genius has appeared in Demon Dragon region. He has comprehended a thread of universe principle at the level of a principal's master, and his combat power is no weaker than that of a 3rd-level ruler. My lord is extremely curious about such a genius, which is why he has ordered the 4 of us to invite Blood Sword Master to Demon Dragon Castle as a guest," Ruler Red One said. "A guest? Haha. I'm afraid that being a guest is a lie. Snatching the principal true treasure sword from Blood Sword is the real deal, right?" Ruler Emperor Sha snickered. "Emperor Sha." Ruler Red One's eyes turned cold. "This is an order from his lordship. My lordship wishes to invite Blood Sword Master to Demon Dragon Castle as a guest. This has nothing to do with you. You should hurry up and move aside." "Humph. My apologies. I regret meeting Blood Sword too late. I've already decided that he is one of my best friends in this eternal prison. You want me to move aside? Impossible. Even if the Demon Dragon Ruler personally comes, I won't give him face." Ruler Emperor Sha snorted coldly. "It seems that Emperor Sha wishes to offend my liege for the sake of the Blood Sword Ruler." Ruler Red One's gaze turned cold as they glanced at the 3 rulers. They whispered, "If Emperor Sha wants to interfere in this matter, It won't be so easy. However, my lord wants us to bring Blood Sword Master back. His orders must be obeyed. How about this? Later on, we'll make a move. I'll be responsible for entangling that ruler Emperor Sha while the three of you work together to take Blood Sword Master down as quickly as possible. If we can't capture him alive, we'll kill him and seize his principal true treasure, Divine Sword. Yes. Understood. Dark Fire Ruler, Demon King Myriad Bones, and Marquis Sushin all nodded in unison. Boom! A surge of aura suddenly swept up from Ruler Red One's body. Her red robes also blew up, creating endless air waves. Emperor Sha, you don't even care about my lord. I'd like to see what you're capable of. Ruler Red One shouted, and in an instant endless red clouds surged. An overwhelming wave of red clouds swept toward Ruler Emperor Sha. Master! Ruler Emperor Sha glanced at Jian Wushuang. It's okay. Just fight with Ruler Red One. As for the other three, let them join hands to deal with me. Jian Wushuang smiled. Ruler Emperor Sha nodded and immediately charged forward. In the blink of an eye, he and Ruler Red One had engaged in a frenzied battle. Each of the two top experts had the battle strength of the top 5 experts in the Magic Dragon field. When they fought each other, their movements and power were astonishing. While the two were fighting, the Dark Fire Ruler, Demon King Myriad Bones, and Marquis Sushin also moved. Blood Sword Master, surrender obediently. We can spare your life. Otherwise, Dark Fire Ruler was surrounded by layers of black flames, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. The three of you are not qualified to make me surrender. Jian Wushuang smiled, but his heart was moved. The 3 experts are the strongest in the Dark Zone. Since I improved the 2 sword formations, I have been wandering in the dark zones of the Magic Dragon field for 110 years. Although I have fought with many experts, I have only fought with one person. So far, I have not used the 2 sword formations to fight 2 or 3 people at the same time. With the 3 of them working together, I might be able to find some principles in the sword formation. Jian Wushuang's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. Seeing the 3 experts charging at him, he took out the Wu Qi Divine Sword and waved it. The endless essence immediately swept out. Wang Wang! The world trembled slightly, and in an instant, a sea of sword intent appeared in the sky. This sea of sword intent was incomparably vast, and it immediately covered the 3 rulers in front of them. Following that, waves of sword intent continuously surged toward the 3 rulers. What a powerful concept! Is this a sword formation? The 3 rulers immediately sensed the extraordinariness of this sword formation. It is said that the reason why this Blood Sword Master was able to force the strongest experts of the dark regions to flee in such a sorry state as a Principal's Master was because of a sword formation that trapped them. Many of the strongest experts of the dark regions were trapped within the sword formation, as though they were trapped in a vortex. They had no other choice but to use their life-saving secret arts to flee. The sword formation that trapped them should be the one we are looking at right now. This sword formation is quite extraordinary. Even the 3 of us have to be careful. Demon King Myriad Bones said solemnly. Humph! A sword formation created by a mere Principal's Master? Do you really take it seriously? Humph! Even if this sword formation can truly trap the supreme experts of the dark regions, now that the 3 of us are working together, it should be quite easy for us to break through this sword formation. The Dark Fire Ruler did not think much of it. The 3 of us will work together and break through this sword formation. Okay. The 3 masters immediately made their moves. One after another, extremely powerful attacks were unleashed from their hands. The 3 of them began to attack wildly in 3 different directions of the sword formation. Before the waves of sword essence from the sea of sword essence had even approached, they had already been crushed by the 3 of them. Ha! Jian Wushuang, who was using the wavelight sword formation at full strength, frowned at this moment. There's a big difference between trapping one person with the sword formation and trapping 3 people at the same time, Jian Wushuang muttered. Previously, he could control the waves of sword essence to attack one person with the sword formation at will, making it impossible for the other person to escape. However, now that he had trapped 3 people at the same time, the waves of sword essence had to spread out and attack the three people at the same time. As a result, the power of the waves of sword essence was greatly weakened, and even the speed at which they took shape was far slower than the speed at which the waves of sword essence were destroyed by the three rulers. It was far slower than the speed at which the waves of sword essence were destroyed by the three rulers. The three rulers attacked the sea of sword essence in three different directions, but Jian Wushuang had a feeling that he could not react at all. He could only watch as the sea of sword essence was destroyed and the entire wavelight sword formation. It completely collapsed. As expected, I couldn't see the principles of my wavelight sword formation when I only targeted one person, but now I'm facing three people at the same time. When they attacked at the same time, some of the principles of my sword formation were exposed. Jian Wushuang sighed secretly. He was not angry at the collapse of the sword formation. Instead, he was happy. This was because while the sword array had collapsed, he had also discovered some of the principles in his sword array. These principles could all be further perfected. Humph, I knew it. How powerful can a sword array cast by a mere principles masters be? Wasn't it just destroyed? The Dark Fire ruler sneered. Without the sword array, the battle strength of this blood sword master is at most comparable to that of a third-level ruler. Any one of the three of us can easily kill him. However, his lordship has said that if we can capture him alive, it would be best not to kill him. Watch me capture him alive. Demon King Myriad Bones chuckled. A black iron chain with baby-like arms appeared in his hand. The black iron chain was covered with a series of special secret patterns, which clearly showed that it had a special ability. The aura emitted by the iron chain was extremely dark, cold, and powerful. As Demon King Myriad Bones waved his hand, the black iron chain rushed toward Jian Wushuang like a black flood dragon. At the same time, secret patterns were activated. Seeing the black iron chain sweeping toward him, Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Then, a large amount of principal power, dominated by the Master of Earth Principles, rose up crazily. A layer of Earth Sword Realm appeared immediately. It was also only 52 layers of Earth Sword Realm, and it overlapped in a special way to form a complete sword formation of Earthguard. The black iron chain wrapped around Jian Wushuang's divine body, but it was blocked by the sword formation of Earthguard. No matter how the black iron chain attacked, the sword formation did not move at all. What? Another sword formation? Look at the sword formation. It's obviously different from the previous one. This sword formation seems to be used to protect the body. The three rulers looked at the sword formation covering Jian Wushuang's body and frowned. Let's attack together and use our strongest attack to break this sword formation, Marquis Sushin said in a deep voice. The three rulers did not hesitate and immediately used their ultimate moves. Three extremely powerful attacks simultaneously struck the Earth Guardian sword array. These three attacks were barely comparable to the third strike of 1,000 Kills Emperor Lord. Even if they were slightly weaker, they should be comparable to the second strike of 1,000 Kills Emperor Lord. The three attacks simultaneously struck the Earth Guardian sword array. Bang! 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 Almost without a pause, three collision sounds rang out. The Earth Guardian sword array trembled slightly under these three powerful attacks, but it quickly calmed down. What? How could this be? The Dark Fire Ruler, Demon Monarch Myriad Bone, and Marquis Sushin were all a little stunned. But at this time, Jian Wushuang smiled and said, "You three are really stupid. Why don't you think about why an expert like Emperor Sha met me late and treated me as his best friend?" Jian Wushuang's words made the three rulers tremble. "Don't tell me you?" Demon King Myriad Bones stared at Jian Wushuang as a thought flashed through his mind. "You should have guessed it. Let me tell you, I fought with Emperor Sha before I met you. However, Emperor Sha was unable to break my protective sword formation despite using his strongest attack. He admired the defensive ability of my sword formation, so he made friends with me. Although the three of you have the strength of the strongest expert in the Dark Zone, even if the three of you combine their strongest attacks, they still can't compare to Ruler Emperor Sha's strongest move. How can you break my protective sword formation?" Jian Wushuang smiled. His words were half true and half false, but the three rulers in front of him believed him without a doubt. Because in their eyes, Ruler Emperor Sha's strength was extraordinary, and he had an extremely proud personality. Anyone he acknowledged and befriended must have extraordinary strength or methods, and the method Bloodsword Master used to gain Ruler Emperor Sha's approval was most likely this protective sword array. Even Ruler Emperor Sha's strongest move is unable to move this sword array. The three of us definitely won't be able to move, but the protective sword array is only used to defend against material attacks. Soul attacks can't defend against it. Demon King Myriad Bones' gaze turned cold. Marquis Sushin, use your soul attack. Demon King Myriad Bones shouted. Watch me, Marquis Sushin said with a cold glint in her eyes. In the Eternal Dark Prison, there were very few experts who were good at soul attacks, but Marquis Sushin was one of them. A surge of soul power swept out, ignoring the earth protection sword formation around Jian Wushuang, and directly poured into Jian Wushuang's sea of consciousness. Jian Wushuang's soul was destroyed in an instant, but it was immediately restored in the next moment. The people sent by Demon Dragon Lord are really comprehensive. They even have experts who are good at soul attacks. Jian Wushuang smiled. How could it be? His soul was clearly destroyed. Could he be the legendary perfect life form cultivator? Marquis Sushin was shocked. Blood Sword Master is a perfect life form? Damn it! Demon King Myriad Bones cursed. Then he looked at the Dark Fire Ruler and said, Dark Fire, you have a supreme grade suppression supreme treasure. Can you ignore the protective sword formation on his body and suppress him directly? Let me try. The Dark Fire Ruler immediately stepped forward and flipped his hand. A golden stone the size of an infant's head appeared in his hand. Under the control of the Dark Fire Ruler, the golden stone enlarged at a terrifying speed and floated above Jian Wushuang's head. Then the golden stone shook slightly. Boom! A powerful suppressive force came into effect directly. A suppressive true treasure? Jian Wushuang raised his head and revealed a playful smile. He was a cultivator at the perfect life level. With his strength and the protection of the Earth Protection Sword array around him, it would take at least a Principal's true treasure to suppress him. He even had to exert some power from the Principal's true treasure. The Dark Fire Ruler was only a third-level ruler, and he had only taken out a supreme-grade supreme true treasure. How could it suppress him? Sure enough, he stood under the golden stone and let it suppress him. The result was that he was not affected at all. Dark Fire Ruler, your suppression-type true treasure is too low-level. Why don't you take a look at my suppression-type true treasure? Jian Wushuang suddenly smiled wickedly. Buzz! An extremely majestic aura suddenly rose. Under the gaze of the Dark Fire Ruler, a towering stone tablet that was 30,000 meters tall slowly rose into the air. The surface of the stone tablet was surrounded by countless secret engravings, which were extremely complicated. At this moment, with a terrifying power, the stone tablet directly smashed toward the stone tablet. The stone tablet was also a suppression-type true treasure, and the stone tablet was, after all, a supreme-grade supreme true treasure. However, after being smashed by the stone tablet instantly began to tremble crazily. The secret engravings on the stone tablet and the light emanating from its body dimmed on the spot. Immediately after, the golden stone shrank back to its original size and flew toward Dark Fire Ruler at the fastest speed. It was like a bullied child running to his parents. This is... Dark Fire Ruler took back the golden stone, but his eyes were fixed on the towering stone tablet. A principal true treasure. This Blood Sword Master has a second principal true treasure. Dark Fire Ruler roared. A principal true treasure stone tablet? Demon King Myriad Bones and Marquis Sushin were also shocked. However, the three of them had survived the Eternal Dark Prison for a long time, so they quickly calmed down. We've used all our methods, but we still can't kill Blood Sword Master. Red One was stopped by Emperor Sha, so she didn't have a chance to attack. Obviously, we can't kill Blood Sword Master, let alone capture her alive. Demon King Myriad Bones said in a low voice, Let's go and retreat. The three rulers did not hesitate. Knowing that they could do nothing to Jian Wushuang, they immediately retreated. Red One, who had been fighting fiercely with Emperor Sha in the void, also retreated, keeping a distance from Emperor Sha. In the void, Red One, Dark Fire, Demon King Myriad Bones, and Marquis Sushin gathered together again. Emperor Sha also returned to Jian Wushuang's side. Haha. For of you, do you want to fight again? If you go back like this, I'm afraid you won't be able to answer to Demon Dragon Lord, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. The four rulers looked very upset. What's going on? Ruler Red One asked with a frown. Red One, you should have noticed that Bloodsword Master has an even more terrifying protective sword formation besides a sword formation that can trap the enemy. The three of us combined our strongest attacks, but we still couldn't break the protective sword formation. As for other methods, such as soul attack and suppression, we've used them all. They're useless against Bloodsword Master. The three of us can't do anything to him. Demon King Myriad Bones shook his head. Oh right, your side. Demon King Myriad Bones turned to look at Ruler Red One. Humph. It's not like you don't know how powerful Emperor Sha is. When I fought him, I was only barely able to fight him to a draw. Even if I didn't use my trump card, Emperor Sha still has a trump card. There's no way for me to bypass him and deal with Bloodsword Master, Ruler Red One said in a low voice. There's nothing we can do about it. Bloodsword Master has Emperor Sha helping him. The four of us are indeed helpless against him, Demon King Myriad Bones said. We've all done our best. If you want to blame someone for this, you can blame the information we received earlier on for not being accurate enough. We didn't even know that Bloodsword Master had such a terrifying protective sword formation. Based on my calculations, if we want to break through Bloodsword Master's protective sword formation head-on, I imagine that only his lordship will be able to do so, Dark Fire Ruler said. Fortunately, the four of us didn't come out empty-handed. At least we know that Bloodsword Master has another principal treasure, and it seems to be a suppression-type one. We can bring this news back to appease the Lord, Marquis Sushin said. The four of them were ordered by Demon Dragon Lord to bring Jian Wushuang back. But now they could do nothing to Jian Wushuang. If they went back without any gains, Demon Dragon Lord would be furious and might punish them. But now that they had some gains, they dared to go back and report to the Lord. Let's go back and report to the Lord. As for what to do next, let the Lord decide for himself. Red One ruler sighed, then turned around and left with the three rulers. Jian Wushuang and Emperor Sha stood side by side and watched the four leave. Jian Wushuang had no intention of stopping them. Master, why don't you use the token of the disciples of the Red Cloud lineage to suppress them and let them go? Emperor Sha asked in puzzlement. Indeed, if Jian Wushuang wanted to, he could suppress the four rulers with a flip of his hand. Among the four rulers, although the other three were not strong and were only at the level of the strongest expert in the Dark Zone, the leader, Ruler Red One, was comparable to Emperor Sha. If Jian Wushuang could subdue him, it would be a great help to him. However, Jian Wushuang did not do that. These four are here to capture me under the orders of Demon Dragon Lord. If I use the token of a disciple of the Red Cloud lineage to subdue them, who will report to Demon Dragon Lord? Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Master, you deliberately left them to inform the Demon Dragon Lord so that he would come here? Are you trying to subdue him? There was a trace of shock in the eyes of Emperor Sha. Demon Dragon Lord is one of the 10 great kings in the first level of Eternal Dark Prison. It would be best if he could be subjugated. Jian Wushuang smiled. Not only did I ask them to report back, but I also deliberately revealed my second principal's treasure just now. Naturally, I wanted to invite you into my trap. Emperor Sha's expression changed. He had completely understood. I'm afraid it will take some time for the four of them to return to Demon Dragon Castle and come with Demon Dragon Lord. We'll wait for him in the 42nd zone, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Emperor Sha, the 42nd region is your territory. You should know very well that there are experts here. I need you to help me find them, let them fight with me, and help me cultivate. That's a small matter. Master, please follow me. Emperor Sha immediately led Jian Wushuang to the location of the strongest experts in the 42nd region. As for the four of them, they were indeed planning to return to Demon Dragon Castle to report the news. However, among them, Demon King Myriad Bones and Marquis Sushin stayed behind and stayed in the 42nd Dark Zone. They stayed behind to monitor Jian Wushuang and find out his exact location. After all, they had just fought with Jian Wushuang, and Jian Wushuang knew that they were sent by Demon Dragon Lord. Although they had failed this time, they might not be able to return next time. Therefore, if Jian Wushuang was smarter, he would quickly leave this dark area, go to other places, or even find a place to hide. It was because of this that Red One ruler asked Demon King Myriad Bones and Marquis Sushin to stay, so that when Demon Dragon Lord came, they could find Jian Wushuang's location directly. However, they did not expect that Jian Wushuang had no intention of leaving or hiding. Instead, he continued to challenge experts in the 42nd Dark area. In the Demon Dragon field, there was a huge and boundless castle which was the Demon Dragon Castle. As one of the 10 kings recognized in the first level of Eternal Dark Prison, the entire Demon Dragon field was the territory of the Demon Dragon Lord. The Demon Dragon Lord had always been supreme in the Demon Dragon field, and no one dared to provoke him. Although they were all one of the 10 kings, the Demon Dragon Lord was different from the Lone Star Demon ancestor. Ruler Star Demon looked like an immortal, but deep down, he was an out-and-out great fiend. Furthermore, his methods were strange and cruel, and he had a special hobby. He liked livestock on the premise that such livestock could not be found in the Eternal Prison. He used special methods to turn cultivators into livestock for his amusement. Therefore, there were all kinds of livestock in Ruler Star Demon's castle. However, Demon Dragon Lord's preferences were quite normal. He liked beautiful women, so there were a large number of beautiful women living in the Demon Dragon Castle. Of course, these so-called beautiful women were in fact prisoners imprisoned in the Eternal Dark Prison. They might not be strong, but they could only make fun of Demon Dragon Lord. They could also live extremely well in the Demon Dragon domain. Inside the grand hall of the huge Demon Dragon Castle, a sturdy old man covered in a hazy black cloth was lying on the bed, surrounded by 4 beauties waiting on him. The eyes of this sturdy old man were cloudy, revealing his skin that had a faint black luster. What was most eye-catching was that there was a pitch-black horn on the head of this sturdy old man. This horn was incomparably sharp, as though it could pierce through the heavens and the earth. He was Demon Dragon Region Lord, the absolute ruler of the Demon Dragon realm. Region Lord. A black-robed ruler Red One arrived within the palace. Red One, you've returned? Demon Dragon Region Lord slowly opened his cloudy eyes, glancing at Ruler Red One. Although Ruler Red One was a woman, and she was born quite well, Demon Dragon Region Lord had no interest in Ruler Red One at all. Did you bring Blood Sword Master back? Demon Dragon Region Lord asked. No, Region Lord. Ruler Red One shook his head. You didn't bring him back? Demon Dragon Region Lord frowned, but he immediately used his power again. I didn't bring him back alive, but I brought back his corpse. Most importantly, I brought back the principal true treasure sword on him. That'll do. Region Lord, we weren't able to bring Blood Sword Master back, and we weren't able to kill him, Ruler Red One said nervously. What did you say? Demon Dragon Region Lord rose to his feet. He stared at Ruler Red One with a cold look in his eyes. Trash. Don't be angry, Region Lord. Ruler Red One immediately began to explain in shock. The 4 of us were ordered by the Region Lord to capture that Blood Sword Master, but when we found him, he was already in the 42nd Dark Zone. For some reason, he was already walking together with Emperor Sha. We said that we were ordered by the Region Lord to invite this Blood Sword Master, but Emperor Sha didn't give us any face at all. He was still incredibly unyielding, and in the end, we had no choice but to fight him. Emperor Sha? Demon Dragon Region Lord's gaze turned cold. There were many experts in the Demon Dragon region. He naturally knew about the Supreme Ruler Emperor Sha. Not only did he know, he had also met with Emperor Sha before. He had even attacked Emperor Sha before. However, Emperor Sha had luckily escaped that time. Although he had still kept some trump cards, Emperor Sha's strength and methods were still extremely powerful. So, the reason you weren't able to bring back the Blood Sword Master is because Disha intervened? Demon Dragon Region Lord asked. Not exactly. Ruler Red One shook his head. Although Emperor Sha is strong, I can still fight him to a standstill. I'll hold him off while Dark Fire, Myriad Bones, and Sushin deal with the Blood Sword Master. Who would have thought that the Blood Sword Master would actually know how to use an incomparably powerful protective sword formation? The protective sword formation isn't even capable of dealing with Emperor Sha's most powerful attacks. That's why Emperor Sha became acquainted with the Blood Sword Master. Although Dark Fire, Myriad Bones, and Sushin are working together, they aren't able to do anything to the Blood Sword Master. Ruler Red One explained, Lord, the four of us have indeed used all of our abilities, but we still have no chance of killing the Blood Sword Master. Thus, we can only return to report this to you. In addition, when we surrounded and killed the Blood Sword Master with Dark Fire, Myriad Bones, and Sushin, we didn't gain nothing at all, Ruler Red One said. Harvest? What harvest? Demon Dragon Ancestor's voice was still as cold as ever. Although the three of them were unable to break through Blood Sword Master's protective sword array, they were able to force him to reveal quite a few of his trump cards through other means. For example, aside from his extraordinary talent, which allowed him to comprehend a sliver of the universe principles at the level of a principles master, he is actually a perfect life-level cultivator. In addition to the known principle True Treasure Sword, he also has a second principle True Treasure, said Ruler Red One. What? A second principle True Treasure? Demon Dragon Ancestor's pupils constricted. In the universe, only 4th level or even 5th level rulers were qualified to own a principal True Treasure. In the first space of Eternal Darkness Prison, only 3rd level rulers were imprisoned. Because there were too many rulers, some of them had heaven-defying opportunities, and some had extraordinary backgrounds. There were also a few principal True Treasures, but the number was still pitifully small. For example, Demon Dragon Lord did not have a single principal True Treasure. He had asked Red One to capture Jian Wushuang in order to get his principal True Treasure, the Divine Sword. But now, Red One told him that Blood Sword Master had a second principal True Treasure. What's Blood Sword Master's second principal True Treasure? Demon Dragon Region Lord asked. It's a special stone tablet. It should be a suppression-type principal True Treasure, Ruler Red One said. A suppression-type principal True Treasure? A stone tablet? Demon Dragon Region Lord's expression suddenly changed. How big is the stone tablet? Is there anything special about its surface? That stone stele is very tall. It is more than 30,000 meters tall, and its surface is covered with golden engravings. Those golden engravings are incomparably profound and complex, Ruler Red One replied. More than 30,000 meters? Golden engravings. Demon Dragon Region Lord's eyes lit up. That's it. There's no mistaking it. That's it. Ha. The heavens are helping me. Demon Dragon Region Lord began to laugh loudly. Region Lord. Ruler Red One looked at Demon Dragon Region Lord in confusion. He didn't know why Demon Dragon Region Lord was so happy. Could it be that the principal True Treasure Stone Tablet in Blood Sword Master's hands was very useful to Demon Dragon Region Lord? Demon Dragon Region Lord did not explain too much. He just muttered to himself, Humph. A stone tablet that is over 30,000 feet tall and has a large number of golden engravings on its surface. It is also a suppression-type principal True Treasure. If I'm not mistaken, it should be the Heaven Suppression Tablet that Old Scorpion has been looking for. That Old Scorpion already has 2 of those Heaven Suppression Tablets, but he is still extremely eager to obtain a 3rd one. For this reason, he even offered great benefits and conditions. If I'm not mistaken, the Heaven Suppression Tablet requires 3 of them to be combined in order to unleash its true power. And now, a Heaven Suppression Tablet has appeared in the hands of the Blood Sword Master. If I can obtain it, even though I don't need it, I can use it to negotiate with that Old Scorpion. That Old Scorpion has been imprisoned in the Eternal Dark Prison for the longest time. He has the deepest foundation and the most array treasures in his hands. It is rumored that other than the 2 Heaven Suppression Tablets, he has a total of 3 principal treasures. One of them, the Long Rod, is of great use to me. I have tried my best to beg him for the rod. I was even willing to pay a huge price. He was not willing to give me the rod. However, as long as I get the Heaven Suppression Tablets, he will come begging me with the rod. Demon Dragon Region Lord's eyes flickered with a strange light, and there was a cold smile at the corner of his mouth. Red One, where is Blood Sword Master now? Demon Dragon Region Lord looked down. When I came back to inform you, I purposely left 10,000 bones and Sushin behind to monitor Blood Sword Master's movements. Besides, Sushin has my special token with her. I can sense Sushin's location, and she's still in the 42nd Dark Zone. Clearly, Blood Sword Master hasn't left that place, Red One said. Haha, you've done well. Although you weren't able to bring the Blood Sword Master back this time, you've at least brought me some good news. You've all worked hard. Once we capture him, I'll reward you well. Demon Dragon Region Lord laughed. Many thanks, Region Lord. Ruler Red One felt joy in his heart. But then he continued, Region Lord, the Blood Sword Master's protective abilities aren't weak at all. In addition, he has Emperor Sha by his side. If we want to kill him or capture him alive, we won't be able to do so by ourselves. I'm afraid that only if you personally act, Region Lord, will we have the confidence to capture him. I understand. Demon Dragon Lord nodded. Just Emperor Sha alone is extremely difficult to deal with. Even if I were to personally kill him, I would have to pay a price to kill him. As for that Blood Sword Master, if his protective sword formation is truly so powerful that he can't even deal with Emperor Sha's strongest attack, then killing him might be even more difficult than killing Emperor Sha. This matter is of great importance. I don't wish for any unforeseen circumstances to arise. Red One, immediately invite Spark over. Invite Ruler Spark over? Ruler Red One was startled. There were many experts within the Demon Dragon domain, and they were all skilled in all sorts of techniques. Ruler Spark, on the other hand, was an incomparably unique existence within the Demon Dragon domain. Ruler Spark's personal combat power was not very strong, but just like Blood Rain Demon Monarch of the 9th Dark Zone, he was skilled in formations, and his understanding of arrays had reached an unbelievable level. If Blood Rain Demon Monarch's understanding of arrays could barely rank in the top 20 or even the top 10 in the first level of Eternal Dark Prison, then the Ruler Spark's understanding of arrays was publicly recognized as the number 1 in the first level of Eternal Dark Prison. In other words, in terms of array attainments, no one in the first level of Eternal Dark Prison could compare to him. Even Blood Rain Demon Monarch was far behind him. However, although the array formation was powerful, his own strength was not strong, so he could not become a king. But even if he was not a king, ordinary kings would not dare to put on airs when they saw him. They were all polite. This was the case for the Demon Dragon Lord. Although the Ruler Spark lived in the Demon Dragon territory all year round, the Demon Dragon Lord did not dare to order him. He could only ask Red One to go and invite him, and even if he did, he would have to pay a price. Only then would the Ruler Spark agree to help him. In a dark area of the Demon Dragon field, in the vast void, 2 third-level rulers were madly fighting each other. The battle was extremely intense. Rumble, the heaven and earth darkened, and streams of terrifying divine power wildly spread out. After a long time, the two separated. Haha, Golden Armor. You and I have roamed this dark area together. We've met each other many times. Every time you wanted to kill me, but in the end you couldn't do anything to me. You could only watch as I left. And this time, it's the same. A violet-haired bewitching youth stood there. He let out a hearty laugh. You're formidable. In recent years, my spear techniques have improved, and my strength has also increased a bit. I thought that I could kill you, but it seems that I'm still quite lacking. The other person was dressed in golden armor. The tall man who was like a golden war god curled his lips and said, You know that you can't kill me. In the future, don't waste your time when you see me. The purple-haired bewitching youth laughed and prepared to leave. Suddenly, who? A loud and clear voice suddenly sounded. Oh, the sound of horses. The expressions of the purple-haired bewitching youth and the golden-armored man changed. This was the Eternal Dark Prison. How could there be horses? Could it be? The two of them immediately lifted their heads and looked towards the source of the horse cry. As expected, A luxurious horse carriage pulled by a pair of white horses slowly drove over. There was a person seated on top of the luxurious horse carriage. It was a white-robed, white-haired handsome man. This handsome man had his eyes slightly shut. His body emitted a unique and elegant aura. It was as though he was a celestial being. Upon seeing this person, the purple-haired youth and the golden-armored man's expressions changed drastically. Star Demon Ancestor! It's Star Demon Ancestor! Both of them turned pale with fright. Star Demon Ancestor was one of the 10 strongest monarchs in the first level of Eternal Prison. Furthermore, Star Demon Ancestor did not occupy a large area. It was not that he did not have the strength to occupy it, but that he was not interested. Star Demon Ancestor's eccentricities. Everyone in Eternal Darkness Prison knew about it. He was only interested in the animals in his palm. In addition, Star Demon Ancestor had a special title. He was publicly acknowledged as the #1 evil fiend in Eternal Darkness Prison. He was a complete psychopath and a lunatic. He liked to turn people into animals and play with them. Any cultivator who fell into Star Demon Ancestor's hands would suffer a fate worse than death. In the Eternal Dark Prison, there were many people who had been captured by Star Demon Ancestor and tortured for a long time. These people hated Star Demon Ancestor to the extreme, but they were also extremely afraid of him. For example, Demon Monarch Ancient Knight, who had luckily escaped from the Eternal Dark Prison, had been captured by Star Demon Ancestor and turned into an animal. He had been tortured for 1 billion years, so he hated Star Demon Ancestor to the extreme. When he brought Jian Wushuang into the Eternal Dark Prison, the only condition was that Jian Wushuang would find a way to kill Star Demon Ancestor for him. Without a doubt, Star Demon Ancestor was a well-known demon in the Eternal Dark Prison, but he could do nothing about it. Star Demon Ancestor. How did we meet Star Demon Ancestor? Why did Star Demon Ancestor appear in the Demon Dragon field? Could it be Star Demon is on a patrol? The purple-haired youth and the golden-armored man began to tremble violently. It was a disaster for Star Demon to be out on a patrol. As Star Demon Ancestor liked to turn cultivators into animals to torture and tease, he would release the cultivators after he was done with them. Therefore, every once in a while, Star Demon Ancestor would go out. He would capture a large number of cultivators in the 8 great domains of Eternal Darkness Prison and transform them into animals to bring back. This was Star Demon's patrol. And during Star Demon's patrol, any cultivator that Star Demon encountered would definitely be a nightmare. As expected, when Star Demon Ancestor saw the 2 rulers, he waved his hand and an invisible force instantly descended. It's over. The purple-haired bewitching youth and the golden-armored man's faces were pale. Their eyes were filled with terror and despair. Although they were 3rd-level rulers and had lived in the Eternal Prison for so long, they were not weak in terms of their survival abilities. However, they could not resist Star Demon Ancestor at all. This was because there had long been rumors in the Eternal Prison that if Star Demon went out on patrol, any cultivator he encountered would be captured. At the very least, they could live. If they wanted to escape, they would die. Up until now, no one that Star Demon Ancestor had attempted to capture had ever failed. Even Star Demon Ancestor, the strongest expert in the Dark Zone, could be easily captured, much less the 2 of them. An invisible force descended upon the 2 rulers, causing them to look at a loss. In the next moment, their bodies began to transform. The 2 rulers, who were clearly emitting monstrous auras, turned into 2 animals in the blink of an eye, a rabbit and a crow. With a slight wave of Star Demon Ancestor's hand, the rabbit and crow appeared in his palm out of control and were thrown into the back of the carriage. However, when Star Demon Ancestor opened the back of the carriage, he could see that the back of the carriage was already filled with all sorts of animals. However, they were very small in size. Clearly, Star Demon Ancestor had already captured quite a number of cultivators when he was out on patrol. After capturing the purple-haired youth and the golden-armored man, the carriage only paused for a moment before continuing forward. Along the way, Star Demon Ancestor took action time and time again. Any cultivator he encountered would turn into livestock or animals in the trunk of the carriage. Half a year later, Star Demon Ancestor came to a dark corner. A thin, black-robed elder came to the front of the carriage. Welcome, Master. The black-robed elder was a third-stage ruler, after all. Furthermore, he was publicly acknowledged as the strongest expert in this dark region. But now he was kneeling in front of Star Demon Ancestor. "Speak," said Star Demon Ancestor calmly. "Master, Blood Sword Master is currently in the 42nd Dark Zone. Furthermore, Lord Demon Dragon seems to already know of his existence. Not long ago, Lord Demon Dragon's 4 experts attacked in an attempt to kill Blood Sword Master, but they failed. If nothing goes wrong, Lord Demon Dragon will likely attack personally next," said the black-robed elder respectfully. "Demon Dragon? Haha, it's just a small lizard. Forget about the fact that Master Bloodsword has yet to fall into his hands. Even if he does, if I need him, he will obediently hand Master Bloodsword over to me." Star Demon Ancestor snickered. He then looked down. "You have done well in this matter. As a reward, I can reduce the time limit for you by 1 chaos cycle." "Thank you, Master." The black-robed elder was overjoyed. Star Demon Ancestor smiled as he drove the carriage straight toward the 42nd Dark Zone. In the 42nd Dark Zone, Jian Wushuang and Emperor Sha were flying side by side in the vast void. Not far behind them, there were 2 other figures following them. "Demon King Myriad Bones and Marquis Sushin are really annoying," Emperor Sha said with a frown. "Let them follow us. Judging from the time, Demon Dragon Lord should be arriving soon," Jian Wushuang said with a smile. "Master, the cave mansion where White Melody Demon Lord lives is ahead. Although White Melody Demon Lord is also the strongest expert in the Dark Zone, his strength and skills are mediocre. He doesn't specialize in any special skills, and he doesn't have many life-saving secret skills. If he falls into Master's sword formation, Master will have a chance to kill him," Emperor Sha said. "Yes." Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. It did not take long for Jian Wushuang to meet White Melody Demon Lord. Soon, Jian Wushuang used the Wave Light Sword formation to fight with White Melody Demon Lord. Not far away in the void, Demon King Myriad Bones and Marquis Sushin released their soul power and watched the battle in front of them. This Blood Sword Master is really crazy. He took the initiative to find the strongest experts in the Dark Zone to fight with them. Does he want to use the strongest experts in the Dark Zone to temper his sword formation? Demon King Myriad Bones curled his lips. Emperor Sha was the same. He was clearly extremely arrogant, but he actually brought him to seek out the strongest experts of the Dark Zones. It's his own fault that Emperor Sha acknowledged Blood Sword Master. The 2 of them have even become good friends. Blood Sword Master wants to temper his sword formation, so Emperor Sha naturally has to help. Marquis Sushin laughed calmly. "I've heard of that White Melody Demon Lord. Although he isn't weak, his life-saving secret arts are very ordinary. If he were to fall into the Blood Sword Master's sword array alone, he wouldn't be able to break it. He wouldn't be able to escape either. He would probably die at the hands of the Blood Sword Master in the end," Demon King Myriad Bones said. The 2 of them were casually chatting. Suddenly, the expressions of Demon King Myriad Bones and Marquis Sushin both changed, and then their eyes lit up with joy. "Lord, we've finally arrived." Their soul force had already sensed the arrival of Demon Dragon Lord and someone else. The 2 immediately went forward to welcome him. "Greetings, Lord." Demon King Myriad Bones and Marquis Sushin both bowed respectfully, while at the same time, they noticed an unyielding old man standing next to Demon Dragon Lord. "The ruler Spark?" Demon King Myriad Bones and Marquis Sushin are startled. 10,000 bones, pure heart. That Blood Sword Master can be in front? Demon Dragon Lord overlooks over. "Yes." The Demon King Myriad Bones nodded respectfully. "He is currently fighting against one of the most powerful experts in the 42nd Dark Zone, the White Melody Demon Lord. The White Melody Demon Lord shouldn't be a match for him and is about to die. In addition, Ruler Emperor Sha has been with the Blood Sword Master all these years, and is also in the front," the Demon King Myriad Bones said. "Emperor Sha?" Demon Dragon Lord's eyes were cold. "Many years ago I tried to kill him, but he was lucky enough to escape. Now that he is with Blood Sword Master, let's kill him as well. Let's go." Demon Dragon Lord rushed out directly. Behind him, there were 5 people, including Ruler Spark, Ruler Red One, Dark Fire Ruler, Demon King Myriad Bones, and Marquis Sushin. They were approaching Jian Wushuang at an extremely fast speed. In the endless void, an endless sea of sword essence swept up, forming layers of sword essence waves that attacked White Melody Demon Lord in the center. White Melody Demon Lord had been trapped in the light sword formation for a long time. He had used all his skills, but he could not break free from the sword formation. He could only watch as his divine power was being consumed. He was in a desperate situation. At this moment, Emperor Sha, who had been standing outside the battlefield, suddenly came to Jian Wushuang's side. Blood Sword, Demon King Myriad Bones, and Marquis Sushin have left my soul perception range. If I'm not mistaken, Demon Dragon Lord should have arrived, Emperor Sha said. Because there was an outsider present, Emperor Sha did not call Jian Wushuang master, but Blood Sword. Demon Dragon Lord is here? Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. Demon Dragon Lord? White Melody Demon Lord, who was in the center of the wave light sword formation, was also shocked. As expected, a vast and overwhelming aura slowly came from the void in the distance. At the end of the void, several figures were approaching at an amazing speed. In the blink of an eye, they arrived in the void outside the battlefield, and one figure after another appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. There were 6 people in the group, except for the 4 people whom Jian Wushuang had met before, namely, Red One Ruler, Dark Fire Ruler, Demon King Myriad Bones, and Marquis Sushin. The others were Demon Dragon Lord and an arrogant elder. Is that Demon Dragon Lord? Jian Wushuang looked at Demon Dragon Lord, who had a black horn on his forehead. The latter stood there, emitting an invisible aura that was much stronger than that of an ordinary 3rd-level ruler or even the strongest expert in the Dark Zone. Jian Wushuang also felt a tremendous pressure from him. This pressure would only appear when it posed a great threat to him. As expected of one of the 10 great kings. Just standing there gives me such a strong pressure. If I didn't have the token of a disciple of the Red Cloud lineage, I really couldn't guarantee that I would be able to escape unscathed. Jian Wushuang sighed in his heart. Then he looked at the arrogant elder next to Demon Dragon Lord. Who is this man? I don't think there is a match for him in the intelligence I received. How can he stand side by side with Demon Dragon Lord? Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes slightly. Even the Red One Ruler, who was as strong as Emperor Sha, was standing respectfully behind Demon Dragon Lord. However, this arrogant elder was standing side by side with Demon Dragon Lord. Demon Dragon Lord did not have any objection to this. Obviously, this person was not Demon Dragon Lord's subordinate. Could it be another emperor? Jian Wushuang frowned. In his opinion, only the other 9 emperors could stand on the same level as Demon Dragon Lord in the 1st level of Eternal Darkness Prison. Emperor Sha, who was standing next to him, said softly, Master, if I'm not wrong, that arrogant elder should be Ruler Spark. Ruler Spark. Jian Wushuang was puzzled. Ruler Spark is not an emperor. He is not very strong and is only an ordinary 3rd-level ruler. However, he has a very good understanding of formations. He is recognized as the best in the 1st level of Eternal Prison. Ruler Emperor Sha said, The best in formations? Upon hearing Ruler Emperor Sha's words, Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. Jian Wushuang had been exploring the dark areas in the Demon Dragon field and challenging the strongest experts in the dark areas. His goal was to perfect his 2 sword formations as much as possible. Over the years, he had gained something, but not much. The biggest improvement he had made in the 2 sword formations was in the 9th Dark Zone, under the guidance of Blood Rain Demon Venerable for 30 years. During those 30 years, his 2 sword formations could be said to have improved by leaps and bounds. And now, he had met another expert who was good at formations, and he was publicly acknowledged to be number 1 in the 1st level of the Eternal Dark Prison. This Ruler Spark's understanding of array formations was definitely higher than Blood Rain Demon Monarch's, or even much higher. After all, although Blood Rain Demon Monarch's attainments in array formations were also high, he was also extremely confident. He believed that his attainments in array formations could barely rank in the top 10 of the 1st level of Eternal Darkness Prison. But in reality, This sort of ranking was only her own opinion and did not receive the approval of others. However, it was different for the ruler Spark. He was recognized by countless cultivators in the first level of Eternal Dark Prison. His attainments in the Tao of Formation must be extremely high. If Jian Wushuang could subdue such an expert who was good at formation, it would be of great help to him. The Demon Dragon Lord is really a good person. It's one thing for him to come to me, but he actually brought me such a big gift. Jian Wushuang smiled, feeling extremely happy. Because of Demon Dragon Lord's arrival, the fierce battle between Jian Wushuang and White Melody Demon Lord naturally stopped. Although White Melody Demon Lord did not have much divine power left and it would only take Jian Wushuang a moment to kill him, Jian Wushuang still stopped. White Melody Demon Lord immediately seized the opportunity to escape to the surrounding void. However, he could not leave immediately because the moment Demon Spirit Lord appeared, the surrounding void was covered by a huge magic formation. This formation was much more powerful than the one that Blood Rain Demon Monarch had set up in the past. Moreover, Blood Rain Demon Monarch had set up the formation in the past, so it would take some time to prepare. However, Stone Fire Star Master had set up a more powerful formation with a flip of his hand. Jian Wushuang, Emperor Sha, and White Melody Demon Lord could not escape from the formation. I can feel that the formation is very strong. Even if I use my strongest skills, I'm afraid I won't be able to break it, Emperor Sha said in a low voice. To be able to set up such a powerful formation with a flip of his hand, the attainments of Stone Fire Star Master in the Tao of Formation are indeed impressive. Jian Wushuang's eyes shone with brilliance. The more skilled he was in the Tao of Formations, the happier he felt. Whoosh! In a flash, White Melody Demon Lord arrived in the void in front of Demon Dragon Lord and the others. Lord, you must be here for Blood Sword Master. It has nothing to do with me. Please let me go. White Melody will remember your kindness. No matter what your orders are, I will do my best. White Melody Demon Lord was very respectful. His attitude was extremely low. His divine power had been greatly damaged, and he didn't want to stay any longer. And from his point of view, he was the strongest expert in the Dark Zone. In terms of strength, he was not like the Dark Fire Ruler, Demon King Myriad Bones, or Marquis Sushin. And now, his attitude was so low. He had even promised to work for Demon Dragon Lord in the future. Demon Dragon Lord should have let him go. But in reality, Demon Dragon Region Lord merely shot a cold glance at White Melody before waving his hand. Boom! A majestic might suddenly swept out, transforming into a bolt of purple divine lightning. The purple divine lightning contained a terrifying destructive power as it struck White Melody's body. White Melody widened his eyes as a trace of hatred and anger flashed in his eyes. However, his aura began to dissipate. With a wave of his hand, White Melody died. Humph! A piece of trash wants to work for me? How laughable! Demon Dragon Region Lord was disdainful. Ruler Red One, Demon King Myriad Bones, and the others behind him weren't surprised at all. Demon Dragon Region Lord was one of the 10 great monarchs. He was the Region Lord of the Devil Dragon realm, and he was a lofty figure. How could it be so easy for him to work for him? The reason why they were able to work for Demon Dragon Lord was because of some special factors. Otherwise, Demon Dragon Lord would not have bothered to look at them except for Red One. Jian Wushuang and Emperor Sha were surprised to see this. He is the strongest expert in the Dark Zone. Although I have used up more than half of his divine power, Demon Dragon Lord did not use his full strength. He simply killed him without even taking out his supreme treasure weapon. Jian Wushuang was secretly amazed. At the same time, he understood that Demon Dragon Lord's strength was stronger than he had imagined. Previously, he had heard that the most powerful attacks of the 1,000-kill Emperor Lord and Emperor Sha Ruler were comparable to the power of ordinary kings. But now, it seemed that they were comparable. However, they were only comparable to the power of a casual attack from the 10 great kings. If the 10 great kings were slightly more serious and took out their supreme treasures and divine weapons, the power they could unleash would definitely be much stronger than the most powerful attacks of 1,000 kills Emperor Lord and Emperor Sha. After killing White Melody Demon Lord, Demon Dragon Lord's expression did not change at all. He looked at Jian Wushuang again with his cold eyes. However, there was a hint of unconcealable fanaticism in the depths of his eyes. Blood Sword Master, I'll give you a chance. Hand over your 2 principal supreme treasures and submit to me. I can promise not to kill you, Demon Dragon Lord growled. Oh, you want me to submit? Jian Wushuang smiled faintly. He was not surprised. Just like when he met Demon Emperor Ancient Knight, Demon Emperor Ancient Knight wanted to subdue him at first. He was extremely excited because Demon Emperor Ancient Knight had left Eternal Dark Prison and returned to the universe. Moreover, he had a master behind him. That was why he wanted a super genius like him. However, Demon Dragon Lord was still in the Eternal Dark Prison, where geniuses were not worth anything. He probably wanted to subdue Jian Wushuang to save some trouble. He did not really care about Jian Wushuang's talent. Demon Dragon Lord, you'd better make a move. Let me see how strong you are as one of the 10 kings. Jian Wushuang beckoned Demon Dragon Lord with a provocative look. You're courting death. Demon Dragon Lord's eyes were filled with killing intent. With a flip of his palm, a dark golden long staff appeared in his hand. This dark golden long staff was Demon Dragon Lord's most powerful magic weapon. Under normal circumstances, Demon Dragon Lord did not need to use a magic weapon to kill an ordinary expert of the Dark Zone. For example, Demon Dragon Lord had killed White Melody Demon Lord directly with its power. However, considering that Emperor Sha was standing beside Jian Wushuang, Demon Dragon Lord would take out its supreme treasure magic weapon immediately. Emperor Sha, step aside and don't interfere, Jian Wushuang instructed. Yes. Emperor Sha nodded and stepped aside. Finally, I can fight with an expert at the ruler level. Jian Wushuang looked at Demon Dragon Lord with a hint of excitement in his eyes. Emperor Sha retreated? Demon Dragon Lord glanced at Emperor Sha, but the killing intent in his eyes became more intense. I don't care. If he dares to block my way, I'll kill him. Demon Dragon Lord attacked directly. With a simple step, he crossed the distance and appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. The dark golden long rod in his hand suddenly turned into a dark golden thunderbolt and slashed down fiercely. At that moment, the space was smashed with a violent roar. A terrifying destructive power appeared above Jian Wushuang's head. This power is so strong. Jian Wushuang was secretly shocked, but at the first moment, a large amount of the power of Earth Principles rose, carrying the vast universe origin of Sword Principle. In an instant, the Earth Guardian Sword Array had been formed. The dark golden thunderbolt formed by the dark golden long stick directly hit the Earth Guardian Sword Array, and a crisp explosion immediately sounded. Jian Wushuang's Earth Guardian Sword formation began to tremble violently, but it soon calmed down. As expected, my Earth Guardian Sword formation has been greatly improved under the guidance of Blood Rain Demon Monarch. In addition, its power has also been improved to a certain extent over the years of adventuring. Even the most powerful fourth axe of the Emperor of Thousand Kills could not move the sword formation at all. The attack of the Demon Dragon Lord is indeed much stronger than the fourth axe of the thousand-killing Emperor, but it's still not enough to break my sword formation directly. Jian Wushuang smiled. When he was separated from Blood Rain Demon Monarch and the thousand-killing Emperor, the thousand-killing Emperor had said that Jian Wushuang's Earth Guardian Sword formation's protective ability was extremely terrifying. Even if a king came in person, if he did not pay a price, he would not be able to break the sword formation. This was not empty talk. Now, Demon Dragon Lord had used his strongest supreme treasure magic weapon, but his attack still could not break Jian Wushuang's earth-protecting sword formation. Ha! Demon Dragon Lord frowned slightly. No wonder Red One and the others said that they could not kill Blood Sword Master. They could even block my attack with my strongest supreme treasure magic weapon. With the protective sword formation, how could they kill him? Demon Dragon Lord admitted that Jian Wushuang's protective sword formation was very impressive, but he did not care at all. After all, he was Demon Dragon Lord, one of the 10 kings of the first level of Eternal Dark Prison. Although he was still at the third level, the primary ruler level, in terms of combat strength, he had long reached the peak of the third level, advanced ruler level, and was even infinitely close to the peak of the third level. Although he had used all his strength, he did not use his ultimate move. Dragon Flash! Demon Dragon Lord shouted in a low voice, and the dark golden long stick in his hand suddenly turned into a dark golden flood dragon. The dark golden flood dragon was huge, and it shot toward Jian Wushuang with a shocking momentum. The dark golden flood dragon was unbelievably fast. Almost instantly, it crashed into the Earth Protection Sword formation on Jian Wushuang's body. The terrifying impact caused the Earth Protection Sword formation to tremble crazily. In the blink of an eye, it reached its limit and finally collapsed. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang retreated rapidly and immediately stopped in the void. It broke my Earth Protection Sword formation? Jian Wushuang was surprised. He could see that Demon Dragon Lord had only used his ultimate move, but he had not paid any price. However, Demon Dragon Lord's attack had only broken his sword formation, but it could not hurt him. Even my strongest move, Dragon Flash, could only break his sword formation, but it could not hurt him? Demon Dragon Lord narrowed his eyes. The next moment, his eyes turned cold, and a shocking murderous aura swept out from his body. Black and ferocious scales appeared on his face one after another. Demon Dragon Lord was a member of the Demon Dragon clan, and his original body was a demon dragon. Normally, he would not use his original body, but now, he had revealed part of his original body when he killed Jian Wushuang. Not only did he reveal part of his original body, but he had also consumed a part of his blood essence. Die! Demon Dragon Lord shouted again, his voice full of endless killing intent. The surface of his body glowed with a faint light, and the dark golden long stick in his hand swung out one after another. Boom! 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 3 strokes in a row, each of which was ridiculously powerful. At the end of the third stroke, the power was stacked together, condensing an explosive power. Jian Wushuang had no way to dodge, so he could only use the Earth Protection Sword formation again. However, the sword formation was hit by an unprecedented impact after the 3 strikes. The first 2 strikes alone destroyed Jian Wushuang's Earth Protection Sword formation. As for the third strike, it hit Jian Wushuang's divine body without any hindrance. Under the impact of the terrifying power, Jian Wushuang was smashed to the ground. After a while, Jian Wushuang rose up again, but his aura was obviously weaker than before. I've lost more than 10% of my divine power? Jian Wushuang was surprised, but he immediately smiled. As expected of Demon Dragon Lord, one of the 10 kings. He's really strong. Jian Wushuang had to admit. The 3 strikes were ridiculously powerful, especially the third strike, which was probably at the peak of the 3rd level. Even though it was weakened by his supreme treasure armor, it still severely injured his divine body and directly consumed more than 10% of his divine power. This was because Jian Wushuang's supreme treasure armor had been replaced with the Ice Soul armor of the supreme grade, which greatly improved his protective ability. If it was still the dark gold demon dragon armor, this strike could at least cause Jian Wushuang to lose more than 30% of his divine power. Although the Demon Dragon Lord had paid a price for that move, the price was not too high. The Demon Dragon Lord could probably use the same move many times. If I met the Demon Dragon Lord in other places, I would have to flee in a sorry state. Jian Wushuang smiled. However, he was in the Eternal Dark Prison. In the Eternal Dark Prison, he was not worried that he would be in danger. Demon Dragon Lord, you are indeed powerful and worthy of the title of Emperor. It's a pity that you met me, so you can only blame your bad luck? Jian Wushuang suddenly said. Blame my bad luck? Demon Dragon Lord was stunned. Master Stone Spark, Ruler Red One, and the others who were watching the battle in the surrounding void were also stunned. They could not understand what Blood Sword Master could do in such a situation. Only Emperor Sha understood what Jian Wushuang was going to do after hearing his words. He looked at Demon Dragon Lord with pity. Jian Wushuang had a rough idea of Demon Dragon Lord's strength, so he could not be bothered to hide it anymore. He took out the token of a disciple of the Red Cloud Branch and activated the power of the magic formation in an instant. A majestic power immediately descended. This is the power of the Eternal Dark Prison's magic array. The Red Cloud Branch, he is from the Red Cloud Branch. Demon Dragon Lord immediately reacted. But by the time he reacted, it was obviously too late. The majestic power directly affected Demon Dragon Lord. Although Demon Dragon Lord was an expert at the king level and had battle strength close to the peak of the 3rd level, he was pitifully weak under the power of the Eternal Dark Prison's magic array. There was no room for struggle. In an instant, he was suppressed by the power of the array formation and could not move at all. Not only Demon Dragon Lord, but also the 5 people who had been watching the battle, including the Ruler Spark, the Red One Ruler, the 10,000 Bone Demon Lord, the Dark Fire Ruler, and the Marquis Sushin were also suppressed by that power. No! The Red Cloud Bloodline. The Blood Sword Master is from the Red Cloud Bloodline. We're doomed. We're doomed. The 5 people were immediately suppressed and could not move. Soon, the 5 people gathered with Demon Dragon Lord and lay in front of Jian Wushuang. Master! Emperor Sha came to Jian Wushuang's side. Master! Demon Dragon Lord and the others were shocked when they heard Emperor Sha address Jian Wushuang. However, they soon understood. Emperor Sha has already submitted to Blood Sword Master. Damn it, we were all fooled by him. Red One, Demon King Myriad Bones, Dark Fire Ruler, and Marquis Sushin were all shocked and furious. When they saw Emperor Sha with Jian Wushuang, Emperor Sha called Blood Sword Master. He said that Blood Sword Master was his best friend and that he did it for his best friend. But now it seemed that it was not the case. Emperor Sha had long submitted to Blood Sword Master. It was obvious that Blood Sword Master had exposed his identity and used the power of the Eternal Darkness Prison to suppress him. Emperor Sha was willing to submit in order to survive. It was a lie to see them say that they were best friends. Jian Wushuang was from the Red Cloud branch and could use the power of the Eternal Darkness Prison. Naturally, he could easily suppress the 4 of them, however, Jian Wushuang did not do that. Instead, he let them go back and report the news. His purpose was obvious. Bastard! The Blood Sword Master deliberately lured me here. This is a trap. I was tricked by him and he came to me. Stupid. I'm really stupid. Demon Dragon Lord growled in a hysterical voice. Demon Dragon Lord, you are really stupid. Jian Wushuang looked down at Demon Dragon Lord. He said in a deep voice, don't you think about it carefully? I'm just a principal's master, but I have 2 principal supreme treasures at the same time. I dare to challenge experts in your Demon Dragon field without any scruples. How can I not have any support? Besides, you've already sent Ruler Red One and a few others to kill me. Although I've sent them away, I know that you'll definitely take action next, but I still dare to stay in the 42nd Dark Zone as if nothing had happened. When you arrive, don't you have any doubts? Of course I have doubts. Demon Dragon Region Lord said in a low voice. When I found out about your existence, I began to doubt your identity. Although there are countless cultivators in the 1st level of Eternal Darkness Prison, there is no Principal's Master among them. At least for hundreds of chaos cycles, I've never heard of a Principal's Master there, not to mention that this Principal's Master has a Principal True Treasure. I guess that you might have entered Eternal Dark Prison recently, but I thought you were lucky to find Eternal Dark Prison. I didn't think of you as a member of the Red Cloud family. After all, the Red Cloud family was destroyed a long time ago. It's an indisputable fact. I thought you were an arrogant outsider who relied on some protective means. That's why I wanted to seize the opportunity to attack you. After all, those 2 principal true treasures in your hands were too attractive to me. I didn't expect that I would be defeated by you in the end. Demon Dragon Region Lord's eyes were spitting fire. The winner takes all. He admitted that he had been careless this time. He had taken the initiative to send himself to be suppressed by Blood Sword Master. However, he did not regret it. There was nothing to regret. After all, he had been trapped in Eternal Dark Prison for a long time, and he had long lost hope. It was not easy for him to find out that there was an outsider with 2 true treasures. Of course, he had to seize this opportunity to fight. He might be lucky enough to not only get the 2 supreme treasures, but also learn from Blood Sword Master how to leave the Eternal Dark Prison. Unfortunately, he did not succeed and was suppressed by the other party. Demon Dragon Lord, you are indeed an ruler in the Eternal Dark Prison. Don't worry, I won't kill you directly. I'll give you 2 choices, surrender or die. Jian Wushuang looked at Demon Dragon Lord calmly. Haha! Surrender? You want me to surrender? Demon Dragon Lord sneered. Don't refuse me so quickly. Wait for me to finish. Jian Wushuang briefly described what he needed to do after submitting to him. Of course, he also mentioned some of the things he could do. Demon Dragon Lord, who was originally very determined and unwilling to surrender, immediately wavered after hearing Jian Wushuang's words. Behind him, the eyes of Stone Ruler spark, Red One Ruler, and the others also shone brightly. Blood Sword Master, can you take us out of the eternal dark prison? Demon Dragon Lord stared at Jian Wushuang. Of course. Jian Wushuang nodded. Not only that, you only need to submit to me for 100,000 years. I can swear to the universal principle that you will be free in 100,000 years. Demon Dragon Lord, you have fought for so many years in the eternal dark prison and fought so hard to reach your current position. Now you have a chance to leave, and the price is only 100,000 years. You have to think carefully. Demon Dragon Lord frowned and pondered for a moment before raising his head again. He said, Now I finally understand why Emperor Xia, such a proud man, is willing to submit to you. You're right. It's only 100,000 years. Even if I have to work for you for 100,000 years, or even become your plaything like Star Demon Ancestor, I'll accept it. Demon Dragon Lord, you're not that stupid. Jian Wushuang smiled. It was obvious that Demon Dragon Lord had agreed to submit. What about you guys? Jian Wushuang looked back at Stone Fire Star Master, Red One Ruler, and the others. Among them, Demon King Myriad Bones, Dark Fire Ruler, and Marquis Sushin agreed without thinking. They had submitted to Demon Dragon Lord before, but they did not allow him to leave a mark in the soul origin. Now, they had submitted to Jian Wushuang for only 100,000 years. However, Jian Wushuang was able to take them out of the eternal dark prison. It was definitely a good deal. As for the Red One Ruler and the Ruler Spark, they both chose to submit without hesitation. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang was delighted. Among the experts who submitted to him, Demon Dragon Lord was one of the 10 great kings. He was probably close to the peak of the 3rd level ruler. In the future, he would definitely be a great battle force in the battle with Devil Cloud Star. As for the Red One Ruler, his battle strength was no weaker than the Emperor Xia Ruler, and he was also a great help. However, the one who really excited Jian Wushuang was the Ruler Spark. The Ruler Spark was the best in Eternal Darkness Prison Array formation. With him around, his 2 sword formations could be greatly improved and perfected. In just a moment, Jian Wushuang had left a mark in the soul origin of the rulers in front of him and had absolute control over them. The cave mansion where White Melody Demon Lord lives is right in front of us. Demon Dragon, Stonefire, and Emperor Xia, you 3 follow me. The rest of you wait here, Jian Wushuang instructed. Yes, everyone naturally accepted the order. In the cave mansion, Jian Wushuang sat on a stone bench while Demon Dragon Lord, Stonefire, and Emperor Xia stood in front of him. Stonefire. Jian Wushuang looked at Stonefire first. Master. Ruler Spark smiled humbly. Although Ruler Spark looked arrogant, he was actually a very humble man with a good temper. The reason why he was imprisoned in Eternal Darkness Prison was purely because he had offended the people of the Red Cloud Branch, not because he had committed a heinous crime. I created 2 sword formations. Blood Rain Demon Monarch improved them a lot for me, but I still feel that there is a lot of room for improvement. You are good at formations and your attainments in formations are recognized as the best in the Eternal Darkness Prison. From now on, you will stay by my side and help me improve these 2 sword formations, Jian Wushuang said. Yes. Ruler Spark nodded immediately. Demon Dragon, you are one of the 10 emperors of Eternal Darkness Prison and the Lord of the Demon Dragon Field. Do you have any principles, supreme treasures? Jian Wushuang asked. No, Demon Dragon Lord shook his head. None. Jian Wushuang looked strange. Master, there are indeed a few principles, supreme treasures in Eternal Darkness Prison, but there are not many. Among the 10 emperors, there are a few who have principles, supreme treasures, but I'm at the bottom of the list, so I don't have any. Demon Dragon Lord said bitterly. The bottom of the list? Jian Wushuang was stunned. Why? Are you at the bottom of the list? I'm at the bottom. At least I know that 6 of the 10 kings are stronger than me. As for the other 4, they're probably the same as me, Demon Dragon Lord said. Which of the other kings have a nomological treasure? Jian Wushuang asked again. There are 4 known kings who have a principal supreme treasure. They are Blood Mountain Lord, Redbud Domain Lord, Bone Emperor, and Devil Scorpion Lord. As for the other kings, they may also have a principal supreme treasure, but they have never taken it out. Among the 4 known kings who have a principal supreme treasure, Devil Scorpion Lord has the most principal supreme treasures. He has 5 principal supreme treasures, Demon Dragon Lord said. What? 5? Jian Wushuang was shocked. In the vast universe, there were only 1 or 2 principal supreme treasures in the 4th or even 5th level. He had also passed the test of the Red Cloud world by chance and obtained a principal supreme treasure, Divine Sword, and a Heaven Suppression Tablet left by his master Xianxia. But now, in the 1st level of Eternal Dark Prison, where the highest level was a 3rd-level ruler, someone had 5 principal supreme treasures at the same time. These 5 principal supreme treasures instantly tempted Jian Wushuang. Demon Dragon, are you sure that Devil Scorpion Lord has 5 principal supreme treasures? Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. Of course I'm sure. To tell you the truth, I've met the old Scorpion several times and even fought with him. I know his strength and trump cards very well. I'm sure that he has 5 principal supreme treasures, and one of them is a principal supreme treasure Longstaff that is completely suitable for me to use. I went to him personally and was willing to pay a huge price to exchange for the principal supreme treasure Longstaff, but he refused. The reason I came to you this time is to get the 2 principal supreme treasures in your hands and exchange them for the Longstaff, Demon Dragon Lord said. If you get my 2 principal supreme treasures, will Devil Scorpion Lord give them to you? Jian Wushuang asked with a smile. Of course, he will beg me to exchange them, Demon Dragon Lord said affirmatively. Why? Jian Wushuang was puzzled. Master, you don't know. Devil Scorpion Lord has 5 principal treasures, 2 of which are special stone tablets. I heard from Ruler Red One that he has a 30,000-meter tall stone tablet with golden secret patterns on its surface. It should be the same as the 2 stone tablets in Devil Scorpion Lord's hand, Demon Dragon Lord said. The Heaven Suppression Tablet. Jian Wushuang stood up abruptly. You mean the Devil Scorpion Lord has 2 Heaven Suppression Tablets? Yes, it's the Heaven Suppression Tablet. Demon Dragon Lord nodded and said, Old Scorpion already has 2 Heaven Suppression Tablets, but over the years, he has been trying to find a 3rd one. Unfortunately, the resources of Eternal Darkness Prison are limited, so he hasn't been able to get it. According to my guess, if Old Scorpion gets 3 Heaven Suppression Tablets at the same time, his strength will definitely increase greatly. It will improve a lot, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. He had a Heaven Suppression Tablet, and he had learned about its origin from the Devil Flame. The Heaven Suppression Tablet was a principal suppressing treasure, but its true function was to combine with a unique formation. The formation was 4 centimeters long, and the basic 1st-level formation alone required 3 Heaven Suppression Tablets. Since Devil Scorpion Lord was so eager to get the 3rd Heaven Suppression Tablet, it was likely that he had a level 1 formation with the help of the Heaven Suppression Tablet. As long as he got 3 Heaven Suppression Tablets, he could unleash the power of the level 1 formation and his strength would increase dramatically. However, now that Jian Wushuang knew about it, he had to start thinking about it. If I can get the 2 Heaven Suppression Tablets from Devil Scorpion Lord and get the 1st level of the formation from him, with my strength and a sense of the principles of the universe, I'm afraid that my overall strength will be greatly improved. Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed with a strange light. Demon Dragon, continue to tell me about the other principal treasures in Demon Dragon Lord's hands and the other kings. Tell me about them in detail, Jian Wushuang said. Yes. Demon Dragon Lord immediately began to explain. Although Jian Wushuang had heard about the 10 kings in the 1st level of Eternal Dark Prison, he did not know much about their trump cards. However, Demon Dragon Lord was one of the 10 kings, and he often interacted with those kings, so he must know more about them than Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang and Demon Dragon Lord were talking in the cave mansion. Outside the cave mansion, Red One Ruler, Dark Fire Ruler, Demon King Myriad Bones, and Marquis Sushin were waiting quietly. We originally came with Demon Dragon Lord to deal with Blood Sword Master, but we didn't expect that Blood Sword Master was from the Red Cloud branch. In the blink of an eye, he became his slave. How unpredictable. Demon King Myriad Bones sighed. Previously, although we submitted to Lord Demon Dragon, he didn't leave a mark on our soul essences. But now, Dark Fire Ruler sighed to himself. Let's all think things through. When we think about Lord Demon Dragon, he was the one who was the most unwilling. But now, isn't he the slave of Blood Sword Master as well? Ruler Red One said. That's true. Demon King Myriad Bones and Dark Fire Ruler both smiled. Indeed, even Demon Dragon Region Lord had obediently submitted to Blood Sword Master. They had only been Demon Dragon Region Lord's subordinates. What was there to be unwilling about? Right at this moment, someone is coming. Ruler Red One suddenly raised his head. An aura had already appeared within his soul's range of perception. He was quite familiar with this aura. It's Manyu. What is he doing here? Ruler Red One revealed a puzzled look. A short while later, a young man dressed in silver armor appeared in front of Ruler Red One and the others. Ruler Red One. The young man laughed as he called out. Manyu, why aren't you staying at Demon Dragon Castle? What are you doing here? Ruler Red One frowned as he asked. Ruler Manyu was also an expert under the command of the Demon Dragon Region Lord. However, in terms of status and power, he was inferior to the Lord and the others. After all, the Lord and the others were all close to the Demon Dragon Region Lord, and they were quite close to him. Ruler Manyu, on the other hand, was simply someone who worked for the Demon Dragon Region Lord. Your Lordship, are you inside? Ruler Manyu glanced at the mountain behind him. Yes. Ruler Red One nodded. Is there something you need from the Lord? I was originally staying within the castle, but not too long ago I learned of a matter of great importance, which is why I immediately came to report to you, your lordship, Ruler Manyu said. Is that so? Ruler Red One understood. Tell me, what is it that makes you feel the need to personally make this trip? It's like this. Ruler Manyu immediately changed the story he was about to report. After hearing this, Red One and the other three were stunned, and their expressions became extremely solemn. Manyu, wait here. I'll immediately report to the Lord. Red One immediately rushed toward the cave mansion in the middle of the mountain. In the cave mansion, Demon Dragon Lord was still telling Jian Wushuang some things about the 10 emperors. Ruler Red One walked in directly. Master, Lord. Ruler Red One bowed to Jian Wushuang and Demon Dragon Lord one by one. Red One, what's the matter? Jian Wushuang looked at him. Master Manyu, one of the Lord's subordinates, heard about something and rushed over from Demon Dragon Castle to report to the Lord. He said that not long ago, someone in the Demon Dragon region saw Star Demon Ancestor riding a carriage and capturing cultivators on the way. Ruler Red One said solemnly. Star Demon Ancestor? Upon hearing Star Demon Ancestor's name, both Star Fire and Emperor Sha trembled. Clearly, they feared Star Demon Ancestor. Star Demon Ancestor actually came to our Demon Dragon domain, but it hasn't even been 1 billion years since his last patrol. Clearly, it hasn't been that long yet. Demon Dragon Region Lord frowned as well. Star Demon usually went out in a regular way. After all, the purpose of Star Demon's trip was to capture cultivators and turn them into animals for him to have fun. The cultivators he captured would usually be tortured by him for a long time. When he was tired of them, he would go to capture the next batch. However, it had not been long since Star Demon went out to capture cultivators. Therefore, Star Demon should not go out during this period of time. Star Demon went on a patrol? Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes slightly. He had heard about Star Demon going on a patrol in the Eternal Dark Prison and knew about Star Demon Ancestor's weird habits. At the same time, he also understood why Demon Monarch Ancient Knight asked him to find a way to kill Star Demon Ancestor. It was obvious that Demon Monarch Ancient Knight had been caught by Star Demon Ancestor when he was on a patrol. Then, Star Demon Ancestor took him back and turned him into an animal. He was tortured for 1 billion years. No one could bear the shame and pain of a ruler being turned into an animal for 1 billion years. It's such a coincidence that Star Demon Ancestor chose a place and a time to go on patrol, Jian Wushuang suddenly said. It was a coincidence. He did not go out early or late, but he came to Eternal Dark Prison after he became famous. Moreover, the place where Star Demon Ancestor went out happened to be in the Demon Dragon Field. Master, do you mean that Star Demon Ancestor came for you? Demon Dragon Lord looked over. What do you think? Jian Wushuang glanced at Demon Dragon Lord. It's possible. Demon Dragon Lord nodded slightly. Then he said seriously, Star Demon Ancestor is a great devil. He has always been very mysterious. Among the 10 kings, he is definitely the most mysterious and special one. The most mysterious and special one? Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. Tell me. Master, you may not know this, but although the 10 kings appear to be on the same level, there is a certain gap in strength between us. There will also be competition and even fighting. It's just that it's very difficult to kill each other between kings. Over the years, these kings have been very familiar with each other's strength and methods. However, Star Demon Ancestor is the only one among the 10 kings who still doesn't know his limits. Although he is known as the #1 devil of the Eternal Dark Hell, and once in a while he will go out to patrol and capture cultivators wantonly. Those cultivators won't even have the chance to struggle in his hands, but he will only deal with peak stage 2nd-level cultivators or ordinary 3rd-level rulers. But when facing other monarchs, he rarely makes a move. He doesn't occupy a territory, which means that there are fewer conflicts of interest between him and the other monarchs. Few other monarchs would find trouble with him, and even if they did, he would be able to easily deal with them. During the past 100 chaos cycles, Star Demon Ancestor has struck out several times, but each time he uses a different method. He can easily send away one monarch after another. In short, he is very mysterious and has many tricks up his sleeve. Most of the kings among the 10 kings are not afraid of each other, but none of them dare to provoke Star Demon Ancestor. Even if Star Demon Ancestor often appears in the territory of these kings and arrests cultivators, these kings usually turn a blind eye and won't fight Star Demon Ancestor for the sake of these cultivators. After saying that, Demon Dragon Lord fell silent. Demon Dragon, have you fought with Star Demon Ancestor? Jian Wushuang asked. Once, Demon Dragon Lord said. That fight was quite shameful for me. Shameful? Jian Wushuang was stunned. He didn't fight with me directly. Instead, he used some strange methods and entangled me. Although I tried my best, I couldn't touch his clothes. In the end, I was teased by him. Of course, it was shameful, Demon Dragon Lord said. He didn't fight you head-on, but he could use special methods to tease you? Jian Wushuang looked strange. Although he had never met Star Demon Ancestor, from what Demon Dragon Lord had told him, Star Demon Ancestor was indeed very mysterious. Master, Star Demon Ancestor's methods are endless. We can't even send messages because of the special features of Eternal Dark Prison. Although there are some special ways to send messages over the years, most of them are simple and crude. It may take a long time for a message to be sent from our Demon Dragon Field to another major region, but Star Demon Ancestor is different. Star Demon Ancestor has his own way of transmitting information. He has created many special black birds over the long period of time. With the support of the secret pattern magic array, the black birds can cross 2 domains in a short period of time. Moreover, Star Demon Ancestor is a slave in each of the domains. Master, your fame in the Demon Dragon domain might attract the attention of Star Demon Ancestor slaves and attract him, Demon Dragon Lord said. It seems that it's possible. Jian Wushuang smiled. Whether or not Star Demon Ancestor is coming for me, he still wants me to deal with him. Mainly to deal with Star Demon Ancestor? Demon Dragon Lord looked at him. I promised someone that I would kill Star Demon Ancestor for him, Jian Wushuang said. He had indeed promised Demon Monarch Ancient Knight. Since he had already promised, Jian Wushuang would not go back on his word. Moreover, he was no longer the one looking for Star Demon Ancestor. It was likely that Star Demon Ancestor had already set his eyes on him and was looking for him. Star Demon Ancestor may have many tricks up his sleeves, and he may be extremely powerful. However, this is the Eternal Dark Prison after all. As long as he dares to appear in front of me, I can directly mobilize the power of the formation to suppress him. What we need to do now is to wait for him to take the initiative to come over. Jian Wushuang smiled. Many thoughts appeared in his mind. In that case, I'll stay in the 40-second dark zone for the rest of the time. Stone Fire, my sword formation needs your help, so you can follow me. However, you have to set up a formation around me and pretend to trap me. The formation should be more powerful. As for you, Demon Dragon, take your men and stay close to me. I want you to pretend that you've trapped me with a formation, but you can't kill me in a short period of time. This way, when Star Demon Ancestor arrives, he won't suspect anything. He'll likely appear in front of me and attack me. I'll be able to suppress him then, Jian Wushuang said. Yes. Demon Dragon Lord and Ruler Spark nodded respectfully. Emperor Sha, stay with me, Jian Wushuang said. Yes. Emperor Sha also nodded. Soon, Demon Dragon Lord left with Red One Ruler and the others. They did not go far, but stopped nearby. Ruler Spark immediately set up a huge formation in the void. The formation was so powerful that it could create a lot of noise within 1,000,000 miles. Jian Wushuang and Emperor Sha stayed in the formation. It seemed that he was trapped by the Ruler Spark's formation and could not escape, but in fact, Jian Wushuang was relying on the Ruler Spark's formation to improve his two sword formations. The Ruler Spark would occasionally appear and give Jian Wushuang some pointers on the two sword formations. It had to be said that the Ruler Spark's attainments in the Dao of formation were extremely high, much higher than even Blood Rain Demon Monarch. Jian Wushuang's two sword formations had improved a lot over the years, but Ruler Spark had found several flaws in them in a short period of time. On one hand, Jian Wushuang tried to improve his sword formations as much as possible. On the other hand, he was waiting for Star Demon Ancestor to come to him. 23 years after Jian Wushuang subdued Demon Dragon Lord and the others. Ta, ta, ta. The luxurious carriage sped through the void. Star Demon Ancestor. It's Star Demon Ancestor. Star Demon Ancestor is out on patrol. Run. Run quickly. If Star Demon Ancestor catches sight of you and catches you as a pig, you'll be in trouble. Wherever the carriage passed, cultivators would tremble in fear. Star Demon Ancestor was a nightmare for many cultivators. Once they encountered him, it would be a disaster. As long as Star Demon Ancestor encountered him along the way, he would either react quickly and flee, or he would be caught by Star Demon Ancestor and thrown into the trunk of the carriage. As long as he did not escape in time, he would not be able to escape once Star Demon Ancestor made his move. And at that moment, the luxurious carriage had arrived at the 40-second dark zone. Phew! The carriage came to a halt in the void. Star Demon Ancestor, who was sitting in the carriage, raised his eyelids slightly and looked into the void ahead. He could sense that there was an extraordinary array formations might in the void millions of kilometers away. At the same time, his soul power had sensed a few powerful auras not far away. Looks like I let the demon dragon get ahead of me. Star Demon Ancestor propped his head with his right hand. But that's right. This is the demon dragon domain after all. It's his territory. I'll need some time to rush here. My speed is indeed inferior to his, but even though he's faster than me, Blood Swordmaster doesn't seem to have fallen into his hands. Star Demon Ancestor chuckled as he pointed with a finger. Go! With that said, the carriage continued its journey. Moments later, it arrived in a void. In the void, 5 figures were gathered there. The leader was none other than Demon Dragon Region Lord. Demon Dragon, long time no see. How have you been? Star Demon Ancestor said in a gentle voice that caused one's heart to tremble. It was as though he was greeting an old friend. Star Demon. Demon Dragon Region Lord narrowed his eyes. There was a look of unconcealable wariness in his eyes. Yes, it was wariness. Furthermore, this wariness was not faked. Over the long years in Eternal Darkness Prison, Demon Dragon Region Lord had interacted with Star Demon Ancestor. The latter had countless tricks up his sleeve. He had even easily used some tricks to tease him, in Demon Dragon Region Lord's eyes. Even Devil Scorpion Region Lord, who had 5 principal true treasures, was not afraid of the 10 kings of eternal dark prison. This was because even though the other kings were stronger than him, he knew the depth of their abilities. However, Star Demon Ancestor was the only one who was so deep that he could not fathom it. Star Demon, what are you doing in my Demon Dragon territory? Demon Dragon Region Lord asked in a low voice. I've been staying in the castle for too long. I came out to take a stroll and catch some little fellows to entertain myself. Star Demon Region Lord smiled faintly. What? I'm just casually catching some cultivators in your Demon Dragon domain. You, Demon Dragon, can't be that stingy, right? Humph, just some ordinary cultivators. Since you think highly of them, go ahead and catch them. I'm too lazy to care. However, your purpose for coming here this time isn't just that, right? Demon Dragon Region Lord's gaze was ice-cold. Do you dare to say that you don't know about Blood Sword Master? Haha. I knew I couldn't hide it from you, Demon Dragon. Star Demon Ancestor laughed loudly. Not long ago, I received a report from a slave saying that an extremely heaven-defying Principles Master had appeared in Demon Dragon territory. His combat power was comparable to that of a third-level ruler, and he could even make Dark Zone Supreme Masters flee in panic. He even had a Principal True Treasure Godly Sword in his hands. I was very interested at that time. Demon Dragon, you should be aware that there are no Principles Masters in the first level of Eternal Dark Hell. Now that a Principles Master has suddenly appeared, it is very likely that he came from the outside world. From him, we might be able to obtain a way to leave Eternal Dark Hell. Do you think I will give up? Star Demon Ancestor said. Humph. No matter what you say, that Blood Sword Master is now in my Demon Dragon territory. He is my prey. Do you want to snatch him from me? Demon Dragon Region Lord's gaze turned cold. If I really want to snatch him, what can you do? Star Demon Ancestor cast a mocking glance at Demon Dragon Region Lord. Bastard! Demon Dragon Region Lord's expression turned ugly as his eyes seemed to spew fire. Demon Dragon, you should be more realistic. You should know that if I decide to do something, there's nothing I can't do. If I want to snatch your prey, you can only watch helplessly as there's nothing you can do. Furthermore, you must have found Blood Sword Master before me, right? But from the looks of it, Blood Sword Master has yet to fall into your hands. In other words, even if I don't do anything, you won't be able to do anything to him. Star Demon Ancestor gave a strange smile. Demon Dragon Region Lord clenched his hands tightly but fell silent. He did not retort. It looks like that Blood Sword Master is indeed capable. He can't even do anything to you, Demon Dragon. This piqued my interest even more. Star Demon Ancestor smiled faintly. Demon Dragon, that Blood Sword Master is inside that gigantic array formation in front of us, right? Demon Dragon Region Lord looked up at Star Demon Ancestor and nodded unwillingly. Yes, that's good. Stay here and watch how I take down Blood Sword Master. Star Demon Ancestor smiled sinisterly as he immediately drove the carriage to the gigantic array formation in front of him. Demon Dragon Region Lord clenched his hands tightly as he stared coldly at Star Demon Ancestor. Only after Star Demon Ancestor left did his expression change. Star Demon Ancestor truly is terrifying. He is also very cautious. When we were chatting, he was observing your reactions. However, Region Lord, you were well prepared and didn't reveal any flaws. Star Demon Ancestor should no longer have any suspicions. Now, all we have to do is wait for him to appear in front of Master Bloodsword and be suppressed by him. Ruler Red One said with a cold laugh from behind Demon Dragon Region Lord. Humph! Star Demon Ancestor. Demon Dragon Lord's face turned ferocious. He is one of the 10 great kings, but Star Demon Ancestor is the most special and has the most powerful means. I usually fear him, and he thinks nothing of other kings because of his powerful means. But this time, I want to see how he fell at the hands of Blood Sword Master. This time, they had set up a trap for Star Demon Ancestor under Jian Wushuang's order, so that Star Demon Ancestor would come to them. As long as Star Demon Ancestor dared to appear in front of Jian Wushuang, no matter what incredible means he had, he would be suppressed by Jian Wushuang. A vast array formation with a majestic aura covered the vast void. The array formation set up by the ruler spark was indeed ridiculously powerful. Even if the demon dragon lord was trapped in the array formation, he would probably need to spend some effort to get out. And such a powerful array formation would cause quite a stir. Star Demon Ancestor had sensed the array formation's power and was attracted here. Soon, Star Demon Ancestor appeared in the void around the array formation. He got down from the carriage and immediately walked into the array formation. Oh! The ruler spark, who had set up the array formation, immediately sensed Star Demon Ancestor's existence. Star Demon Ancestor is finally here, and his aura is so unique. If I hadn't completely integrated into the formation, I might not have known that he had broken into my formation. His skills are indeed extraordinary. Ruler Starfire was secretly surprised. Since Star Demon Ancestor had already arrived and his skills were so amazing, he did not dare to reveal himself to Jian Wushuang immediately in case Star Demon Ancestor slipped away. Demon Dragon Lord had said that Star Demon Ancestor had many tricks up his sleeves. No one knew how many tricks he had up his sleeve. Although Jian Wushuang had the token of a disciple of the Red Cloud branch, he was not sure whether he could suppress Star Demon Ancestor. Star Demon Ancestor could mobilize part of the power of the Eternal Dark Prison. But Jian Wushuang was not sure if he could suppress Star Demon Ancestor if he was alert and used his tricks to escape in an instant. Star Demon had already appeared in the magic formation and immediately sensed the presence of the ruler Star Fire and Jian Wushuang. This magic formation is quite unique. The one who used it should be the ruler Star Fire, right? Star Demon looked in the direction of the magic formation. He could sense that the ruler Star Fire was at the end of that direction. He is actually able to merge with the formation and sense my existence. Ruler Spark is indeed skilled in formations. If there is a chance, I can bring him back to my castle and have a good spar with him to study the formation. Star Demon Ancestor smiled. Then he looked at Jian Wushuang, who was sitting cross-legged in the center of the formation. Is he Blood Sword Master? Star Demon Ancestor looked at Jian Wushuang carefully, as if he wanted to see through him completely. The strange thing was that there were so many Jian Wushuang, but there was no difference between the two. It showed how brilliant Star Demon Ancestor was at concealing his aura. The Principle's master has comprehended a trace of the universe principle. This little guy is really good. Star Demon Ancestor smiled, and then an invisible force swept out. Jian Wushuang still did not notice it at all. He was now fully immersed in the study and improvement of his two sword formations. Even when the invisible power appeared around him, he did not react. He did not even realize that the invisible power had directly entered his body until it entered his sea of consciousness. Oh no! Jian Wushuang's face suddenly changed, and his eyes suddenly opened. He immediately became alert and tried to block the erosion of the invisible power, but it was obviously over. When the power had already entered his sea of consciousness, it was useless for him to resist. In just a moment, the power had entered his soul in his sea of consciousness and found his soul origin, leaving a special mark in his soul origin. This mark was different from the one Jian Wushuang had left in the soul origin of the Demon Dragon Lord and the others. The mark Jian Wushuang left in the soul origin of the Demon Dragon Lord and the others was just a control method. He could activate the mark at any time and destroy the soul origin of the Demon Dragon Lord and the others. It was equivalent to killing the Demon Dragon Lord and the others. The mark Star Demon Ancestor left in Jian Wushuang's soul origin was to completely control him. It was equivalent to soul enslavement. Quietly, the soul enslavement was completed. It's done. Star Demon Ancestor smiled and his figure slowly emerged from the formation. You are Star Demon Ancestor. Jian Wushuang looked at the white-haired handsome man with a gloomy face. It's me. Star Demon Ancestor nodded slightly. Strange, you should have been enslaved by my soul. When you see me, you should kneel down and call me master. How can you still have your own consciousness and thoughts? Soul enslavement? Hee. Jian Wushuang just smiled coldly, and then his soul in his sea of consciousness began to burn at a terrifying speed. Soul burning. Star Demon Ancestor's face changed. You can still burn your soul under my soul enslavement, and you're so decisive? Under normal circumstances, choosing to burn one's soul would mean death. Anyone who was forced into a desperate situation would have to hesitate for a moment to use soul burning. But the blood sword master in front of him did not hesitate at all. Knowing that his soul had been enslaved, he immediately performed soul burning. He was very decisive. Once the soul burning started, it could not be stopped. What a pity! I wanted to know how to leave this eternal dark prison from him. But now, Star Demon Ancestor frowned. He watched Jian Wushuang's soul burn and disappear. But in the next moment, Jian Wushuang's soul power recovered at an amazing speed. But the difference was that his recovered soul was not enslaved. Star Demon Ancestor, you are really good at enslaving my soul without making a sound. Jian Wushuang stared at Star Demon Ancestor with a cold face. He was indeed careless. He felt that his perceptive ability and life-saving ability were very good, and with the token of a disciple of the Red Cloud branch in hand, he could be fearless and focus on perfecting his two-sword formations. In the end, he did not notice the arrival of Star Demon Ancestor, nor did he expect Star Demon Ancestor to have such impressive means to silently enslave his soul. If not for the fact that he was a cultivator at the perfect life level and that his soul essence had already fused with every part of his divine power, making him invincible in the aspect of the soul, he would have been enslaved by Star Demon Ancestor in that instant. He had become his slave. Even with the token of a disciple of the Red Cloud branch, he could not mobilize the power of the eternal dark prison in time. Your soul has been burned out, but you have recovered in an instant? You are a perfect life-level cultivator. Star Demon Ancestor looked at Jian Wushuang in astonishment. Although he had received some information about Jian Wushuang, he did not know that Jian Wushuang was a perfect life-level cultivator. I've long heard that Star Demon Ancestor is the most mysterious and resourceful emperor among the 10 eternal prison lords. Today, I finally learned how to enslave his soul without making a sound. It's indeed a good method. Jian Wushuang stared at Star Demon Ancestor. His eyes were cold. Ha! I didn't expect you to be a perfect life-level cultivator besides comprehending a trace of universe principle. If such a super genius were to be placed in the deepest part of the universe, countless superpowers would fight over him. Star Demon Ancestor smiled. Then he said, Blood Sword Master, believe me, even if you are a perfect life-level cultivator, your life-saving methods are not weak. Even the demonic dragon can't do anything to you. But believe me, I have thousands of ways to kill you. So, why don't you consider becoming my servant? Humph, Star Demon Ancestor. I'm afraid you're going to miscalculate this time. Jian Wushuang smiled coldly and took out the Red Cloud Disciple token. The moment the token appeared, Star Demon Ancestor's expression changed. Without any hesitation, Jian Wushuang activated the power of the Eternal Dark Prison's formation to suppress Star Demon Ancestor. Rumble. The world shook as the supreme power pressed down on Star Demon Ancestor's body. He was too close to Star Demon Ancestor. Even if Star Demon Ancestor had thousands of means, he could not escape from this suppressive power. Star Demon Ancestor let out a muffled groan and fell to the ground, his face turning ugly. However, it was worth mentioning that although Star Demon Ancestor was suppressed by the supreme power, his body was still standing. Unlike the other rulers who were pressed to the ground, he could not move at all. Star Demon Ancestor was not only standing, but he could barely move. However, he could not use much of his strength. He can stand. Jian Wushuang could not help being surprised. Star Demon Ancestor was one of the 10 great kings, but he was still lying on the ground under the suppression of the power. How could he stand? Jian Wushuang understood that Star Demon Ancestor was much stronger than Demon Dragon Lord. Of course, this had a lot to do with Jian Wushuang himself. Although I can use the power of the Eternal Dark Prison with the help of the Disciple Token of the Red Cloud Branch, I'm only a Principal's Master, so the power I can use is very limited. Most importantly, the Eternal Dark Prison's array was severely damaged in the war that destroyed the Red Cloud Branch. The foundation of the array was damaged, so the power of the Eternal Dark Prison's array was weakened. If the foundation of Eternal Darkness Prison had not been damaged, I would have been able to suppress everything in the first level, even if I was only a Principal's Master. But now, although I can suppress Star Demon Ancestor, I can't do it as thoroughly as I did with Demon Dragon Lord. At least, Star Demon Ancestor can still stand, Jian Wushuang murmured. Of course, since he was already suppressed, Jian Wushuang did not care whether Star Demon Ancestor was standing or lying down. Star Demon Ancestor, do you think I need to think about it now? Jian Wushuang stood in front of Star Demon Ancestor with a cold gaze. However, what surprised Jian Wushuang was that the expression on Star Demon Ancestor's face only changed a little when he took out the token of the Red Cloud lineage. Now, Star Demon Ancestor's expression had calmed down again. When Jian Wushuang opened his mouth to ask, Star Demon Ancestor revealed a faint smile. Blood Sword Master, I knew you must have entered the Eternal Dark Prison through some special means. You must have a way to leave the Eternal Dark Prison. Now it seems that it's true. But I didn't expect you to enter the Eternal Dark Prison through the token of the Red Cloud lineage. Star Demon Ancestor smiled. He was not worried about his current situation at all. It was completely different from how Demon Dragon Lord and the Red One Ruler looked when they were being suppressed. The Red Cloud lineage has long been destroyed. There's no doubt about that. The experts of the Red Cloud lineage should have all died by now. As for the tokens or tokens in their hands, even if the later generations obtain them, they won't be able to recognize them as their masters, so they are naturally useless. That's why I didn't think of you as a member of the Red Cloud lineage. But now, it seems that although the Red Cloud lineage has been destroyed, there's still an inheritance left behind. You must have been lucky to get the inheritance of the Red Cloud lineage and become a member of the Red Cloud lineage. You got the disciple token of the Red Cloud lineage, Star Demon Ancestor said. You're right. I did encounter the inheritance of the Red Cloud lineage by chance and became a new disciple of the Red Cloud lineage. I entered the Eternal Dark Prison with this token, Jian Wushuang admitted directly. Then he asked, Star Demon Ancestor, you're already in such a dire situation. Why aren't you anxious? It's useless to be anxious. Besides, although I'm suppressed by you, I'm not completely suppressed. Even though I can't escape or use most of my skills, I can still use some of the most basic skills. You're just a principles master. Why don't you try and see if you can kill me? Star Demon Ancestor smiled. Jian Wushuang's face darkened. It was true that he could not completely suppress Star Demon Ancestor. Star Demon Ancestor could barely move, so he could not use most of his skills. However, even if he could only use a little of his skills or some simple protective skills, he would not be too weak. Then I'll try. Jian Wushuang was stunned. With the divine sword in his hand, he activated his divine power and slashed down with his sword. Whoosh! A hazy sword shadow flew out. It was Jian Wushuang's strongest sword skill, Hazy. Star Demon Ancestor, who was suppressed by the power of the Eternal Prison Formation, had no room to dodge. He did not intend to dodge at all. With a slight movement of his finger, a huge black vortex appeared in an instant. The black vortex spun crazily and devoured everything around it like a bloody mouth. Jian Wushuang's obscure swordsmanship swept a large amount of hazy fog onto the black vortex, which immediately devoured it mercilessly. It was like a drop of water falling into the sea without stirring up any wind or waves. Jian Wushuang was extremely astonished. He could tell that the black vortex that had suddenly appeared was not created by Star Demon Ancestor himself, but by Star Demon Ancestor in a special way. In other words, the black vortex must have come from a special treasure. When he was in the Red Cloud world, Lord Wu had said that he could easily suppress many rulers on the 1st to 5th levels in the Eternal Dark Prison with the help of the token of a disciple of the Red Cloud branch. Now, he had indeed suppressed Star Demon Ancestor, but he was obviously different from other rulers. Under such circumstances, he could still guide the black vortex out. This black vortex is also very unique. It should be an extremely special power. It can't even suppress the power of the Eternal Darkness Prison's formation. Jian Wushuang frowned. Under normal circumstances, he could use part of the Eternal Darkness Prison's power to suppress everything. Not only could he suppress Star Demon Ancestor, but he could also suppress any means or power that Star Demon Ancestor used. The moment Star Demon Ancestor guided the black vortex to appear, Jian Wushuang immediately mobilized the power of the formation to suppress the black vortex. However, he immediately discovered that the power of the black vortex was very special, or rather, very strange. It was completely unaffected by the power of the formation. Star Demon Ancestor, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect you to have mastered such an extremely special power. Jian Wushuang stared at Star Demon Ancestor. Haha, Bloodsword Master. Although you have received the inheritance of the Red Cloud lineage, I'm afraid he doesn't know many things about the Red Cloud lineage. Do you know why the Red Cloud lineage imprisoned me in the eternal dark prison? Star Demon Ancestor laughed. Isn't it because you have committed crimes outside? Jian Wushuang's voice was low. Of course not. The Red Cloud lineage imprisoned me because I had such a special power. Although I only had a preliminary grasp of it, it was enough to make the Red Cloud lineage envious. They imprisoned me in the eternal dark prison and sent people to contact me from time to time. They tried to find out how I got this power. It's a pity that I refused to obey. I even left a restriction in my Tao. Even if a supreme being from the Red Cloud lineage were to attack me personally, as long as they dared to touch my soul, the restriction would be triggered. I would die immediately and they would not be able to get what they wanted. Star Demon Ancestor smiled. Upon hearing this, Jian Wushuang was extremely shocked. He did not know whether Star Demon Ancestor's words were true or not. It would be fine if they were false, but if they were true, the special power in Star Demon Ancestor's hand actually made even the Red Cloud branch envious? Then this special power was a little terrifying. I've been entangled with the Red Cloud branch for a long time by my own means. In the end, until the Red Cloud branch was completely destroyed, I was helpless. As for you, you can use the token of the Red Cloud branch in your hand to suppress me, but I'm afraid it won't be so easy to kill me completely, Star Demon Ancestor said with a smile. Jian Wushuang looked at Star Demon Ancestor coldly. Stone Fire, Jian Wushuang said. Master. Stone Fire immediately appeared beside Jian Wushuang. Go and call Demon Dragon and the others, Jian Wushuang ordered. Yes. Stone Fire nodded and immediately went to where Demon Dragon Lord and the others were. It did not take long for Demon Dragon Lord and the others to arrive in front of Jian Wushuang. When they saw the suppressed Star Demon Ancestor and the huge black vortex in front of him, their expressions were very strange. Master! Demon Dragon Lord bowed respectfully to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. Haha! Demon Dragon, I didn't expect you to be subdued by Blood Sword Master long ago. You deliberately set up a magic array and pretended to be thinking of a way to deal with him. It seems that you are deliberately plotting against me. Star Demon Ancestor looked at Demon Dragon Lord with a smile. Demon Dragon Lord snorted and did not speak. Demon Dragon, Star Demon Lord is indeed very strange. Although I suppressed him, he has an extremely special power that can protect him. I just attacked with all my strength, but I failed to kill him. You are much stronger than me. Try your best and see if you can kill him, Jian Wushuang said. Yes. Demon Dragon Region Lord nodded solemnly. He had also seen how extraordinary the black vortex in front of Star Demon Ancestor was. Immediately, the dark golden staff appeared in Demon Dragon Region Lord's hand as his divine power surged out frantically. Instantly, the dark golden staff transformed into a dark golden bolt of lightning as it struck down. The surrounding space was struck so hard that it produced an intense boom. Demon Dragon Region Lord had completely unleashed his powerful strength as one of the 10 monarchs. However, when the pole struck the black vortex, it only trembled slightly. Moments later, it returned to normal. Demon Dragon Region Lord's strike did not cause too much of an impact on the black vortex. This Demon Dragon Region Lord frowned. Blood Sword Master, I told you that although you can suppress me, you can't kill me, Star Demon Ancestor said fearlessly. Really? Jian Wushuang curled his lips. Star Demon Ancestor, although I don't know how you mastered this special power, and why it can't even suppress the power of the Eternal Dark Prison's formation, the power you mastered shouldn't be endless, right? Maybe our attacks won't have much effect on the black vortex, but what will happen after dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of attacks? Now I have 6 experts in the Dark Zone and Demon Dragon Lord. We can attack your Black Vortex again and again without any fear. I don't believe that your Black Vortex can continue to be unaffected. Jian Wushuang's voice was cold. Hearing his words, the eyes of Demon Dragon Lord and the others lit up. Star Demon Ancestor narrowed his eyes. He took a deep look at Jian Wushuang and then laughed. Haha, you're right. I can block 1 or 2 attacks with this special power, but I can't block hundreds or thousands of attacks. It seems that I'm doomed to die here today. Since I'm doomed to die, I won't let you do it yourself. Star Demon Ancestor was still smiling, but suddenly, an extremely violent aura emerged from his body. The soul power in his sea of consciousness began to burn crazily at an alarming speed. Jian Wushuang, Demon Dragon Lord, and the others were shocked. He burned his soul to die? How decisive! Jian Wushuang was astonished. He is too decisive. It seems that he doesn't care about his own life. Demon Dragon Lord and others were also puzzled. Demon Dragon Lord and the others had all been suppressed before. Although they had been suppressed, they did not completely despair. They knew that even though Jian Wushuang suppressed them, he might not kill them. Sure enough, Jian Wushuang had given them a condition, and they chose to submit. But now, Star Demon Ancestor did not even ask. Knowing that he was suppressed and that Jian Wushuang had the ability to kill him, he burned his soul and chose to die. He did not give Jian Wushuang a chance to make a condition. Of course, Jian Wushuang had already promised Demon Monarch Ancient Knight, so he must kill Star Demon Ancestor. But before killing Star Demon Ancestor, he still wanted to get something from Star Demon Ancestor, but Star Demon Ancestor did not even have a chance to do so. He chose to burn his soul decisively. And there was something even more strange. When Star Demon Ancestor burned his soul, he was not only decisive, but also very calm. He did not show any unwillingness in his expression or words. He even burned his soul with a smile. When Jian Wushuang suppressed the experts and subdued them, although there were some experts who would rather die than commit suicide by burning their souls, they had no choice but to do so, with endless unwillingness and resentment. There was no unwillingness or resentment in Star Demon Ancestor's eyes. Blood Sword Master. Star Demon Ancestor spoke again. His soul had been burned by more than half. He endured the intense pain of burning his soul, but his expression did not change. You're good. I believe we'll meet again soon. Star Demon Ancestor smiled. What? Jian Wushuang's expression suddenly changed. They would meet again soon? Star Demon Ancestor had burned his soul and died. How could they meet again? Is Star Demon Ancestor just a clone? Jian Wushuang frowned as he looked at Star Demon Ancestor. The latter's soul became weaker and weaker until it completely disappeared. Star Demon Ancestor's divine body also lost its vitality and fell to the ground, dead. Looking at the corpse left by Star Demon Ancestor, Jian Wushuang's heart was heavy. He could see that Star Demon Ancestor was indeed dead. His soul had completely burned out and his divine body had lost its vitality. Moreover, this Star Demon Ancestor did not look like a clone. After all, although there were some unique clone techniques in the vast universe, this kind of clone was one with the original body's soul. If the soul was burned and destroyed, then both the original body and the original body would die. Star Demon Ancestor's soul had been completely burned right under his nose. It did not look like he could survive. However, the word Star Demon Ancestor left before he died, and his calmness made him doubt whether Star Demon Ancestor was really dead or not. Jian Wushuang was deep in thought. Demon Dragon Lord, Emperor Sha, and the others looked at Star Demon Ancestor's body and sighed. Star Demon Ancestor was the most mysterious and terrifying monarch in the first level of Eternal Prison. But now he had died in front of them. Everyone was paying attention to the death of Star Demon Ancestor. However, in the surrounding void, the luxurious carriage that Star Demon Ancestor had been traveling in had been floating there the entire time. The white horses that pulled the carriage had wings on their backs. There were also a large number of cultivators that Star Demon Ancestor had captured in the back of the carriage. They had turned into livestock or animals. When Star Demon Ancestor was alive, these cultivators had been livestock. But now, with Star Demon Ancestor dead, the restrictions that had been binding them immediately dissipated. In an instant, boom! With an earth-shattering boom, the luxurious carriage exploded. Following that, whoosh, 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 countless figures appeared in the world at the same time. Haha! We have recovered. We have recovered. He's dead. Star Demon Ancestor has been killed. Haha! I thought that I would be captured by Star Demon Ancestor and tortured for a long period of time. I never expected that Star Demon Ancestor would die in the blink of an eye. He died well. He died well. It's that Blood Sword Master. He killed Star Demon Ancestor. He's from the Red Cloud lineage. The Red Cloud lineage? When the restriction came into contact, the cultivators immediately returned to their original appearances. At the same time, they had been in the surrounding void. Although they had turned into livestock and stayed in the trunk, they still knew what had happened in the outside world. They had seen with their own eyes that Jian Wushuang had used the power of the Eternal Dark Prison's formation to suppress Star Demon Ancestor, forcing him to burn his soul and commit suicide. Now that they had recovered, they immediately looked at Jian Wushuang. Oh no! Jian Wushuang, Demon Dragon Lord, and the others' expressions changed drastically. They only paid attention to Star Demon Ancestor's death, but they did not notice the many cultivators captured by Star Demon Ancestor. Quick! Suppress them. Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold. He immediately used the power of the Eternal Dark Prison's array to suppress the cultivators. Demon Dragon Lord, Ruler Spark, Emperor Sha Ruler, and others also attacked at this moment, wanting to suppress or kill all these cultivators. However, there were too many of them. Star Demon Ancestor had crossed a large region on the way and met a large number of cultivators on the way. Most of them were caught in the trunk of the carriage. Star Demon Ancestor had caught nearly 10,000 cultivators. The nearly 10,000 cultivators who had been turned into livestock and stayed in the trunk had all regained their original appearance and strength in an instant because of Star Demon Ancestor's death. Tens of thousands of cultivators who were at the peak of the second level at the very least stood in the void. Although Jian Wushuang had reacted immediately and wanted to suppress them, they were not slow either. However, those cultivators were not slow either. When they saw Jian Wushuang's action, they immediately became restless. Run! The Blood Sword Master wants to suppress us. Run for your lives. Spread out, we have too many people. He can't suppress us. Tens of thousands of cultivators fled in a panic at the same time, and they fled in all directions. As they had expected, although Jian Wushuang could mobilize part of the power of the Eternal Dark Prison's formation and easily suppress the rulers, it was impossible for him to suppress nearly 10,000 cultivators at the same time. Moreover, these nearly 10,000 cultivators were not in front of him, but at a certain distance from him. Jian Wushuang tried his best to suppress only a small part of them. There were only a few hundred of them, but most of them had already escaped from Jian Wushuang's sight. Sorry to trouble you. Jian Wushuang's face turned a little ugly when he saw most of the cultivators escape from under his nose. Although these cultivators did not have any enmity with him, he did not have to kill them all. However, these cultivators all knew that he was from the Red Cloud branch when they saw him using the power of the Eternal Dark Prison formation to suppress Star Demon Ancestor. Now that they had escaped and there were so many of them, it would not be long before his identity was known in the Eternal Darkness Prison. He could not hide it even if he wanted to. One had to know that he had always been careful and did not easily use the array formation's power because he did not want his identity to be exposed. Now that his identity was completely exposed, he would no longer be able to do anything in the Eternal Darkness Prison, but it would be far less convenient than before. No one knew my identity before, so naturally, no one would be afraid of me. Even because of the Supreme Treasure Divine Sword in my hand, it would attract experts to come to my door voluntarily, like Demon Dragon Lord and Star Demon Ancestor. But after my identity was exposed, it would be impossible for other experts to come to my door voluntarily. Not only that, if the experts of the Eternal Dark Prison saw me in the future, they would probably think of escaping immediately and would never dare to fight me in front of me. And the other 8 kings? Jian Wushuang frowned. Among the 10 kings in the first level of Eternal Dark Prison, Demon Dragon Lord had already submitted to him, and Star Demon Ancestor was dead. But there were still 8 kings left. The 8 kings were all very powerful. Even the weakest one was no weaker than Demon Dragon Lord, and some of them had principal treasures. Devil Scorpion Lord, for example, had 5 principal treasures each. Among them, there were 2 heaven suppression tablets that were very useful to Jian Wushuang. Of course, Jian Wushuang had thoughts about the remaining 8 kings. He had originally planned to ask Demon Dragon Lord to take him to the 8 kings after he dealt with Star Demon Ancestor. Then he would use methods to suppress the 8 kings, preferably to make them submit to him. However, now that his identity had been exposed, the 8 monarchs knew that he was from the Red Cloud faction. They would not give him another chance to suppress them. If the 8 monarchs were not stupid, as soon as they received this news, they would definitely find a place to hide for billions of years. After he left, the 8 monarchs would reappear. In other words, after what had just happened, it was no longer possible for him to continue pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. It was no longer possible for him to subdue the 8 monarchs one by one. In fact, it was not just the 8 monarchs. Most of the top experts in the first level of the Eternal Dark Prison, for example, the rulers who were the strongest experts in the Dark Zone, would probably choose to hide. Demon Dragon, Jian Wushuang shouted coldly. Master. Demon Dragon Lord stepped forward respectfully. How far is the territory that you mentioned from the Demon Dragon field? Jian Wushuang asked. Not far. It's next to the Demon Dragon field. If you leave now, you should be able to arrive within 500 years, Demon Dragon Lord said. 500 years? Jian Wushuang frowned. How could it take so long? Star Demon Ancestor was not in the Demon Dragon field before, but he came here immediately after hearing my news. It didn't take him long. Star Demon Ancestor had incredible means. He created a special black bird that was extremely fast. He could cross the first level of Eternal Darkness Prison in a short time. He used the same method on his carriage, so his carriage was also extremely fast. It didn't take him long to travel from one major region to another, but we didn't have the ability. Demon Dragon Lord said, the first level of the Eternal Dark Prison is extremely far from one territory to another. If we travel at a normal speed, it will take us 500 years to reach the Devil Scorpion territory from the Demon Dragon territory. But don't worry, Master. Firstly, the information of the Eternal Dark Prison is very troublesome. Although the lords of each territory have some special methods to collect information, it may not be able to reach the other lords in just 500 years. Secondly, I just said 500 years. It's only under normal circumstances, but I know that Ruler Spark has a special treasure. If we use this special treasure to travel, we can save 10 times the time. In other words, 50 years should be enough. Oh! Jian Wushuang could not help looking at Ruler Spark. Ruler Spark smiled and said, Master, I do have a universe boat. If we use it to travel, we can save a lot of time. Universe boat? Jian Wushuang's expression changed. Universe boat is a flying treasure that can travel through the dark void of the universe. After all, the vast universe is boundless, and 99% of it is dark void. If the cultivators in the universe are wandering in the vast universe, they naturally need to travel through the dark void of the universe all year round. This kind of travel is too slow to rely on the flying speed of the cultivators themselves. Ruler Spark smiled. As for Universe Boat, in the dark void space of the universe, it can burst out with an extremely terrifying speed, which is much faster than the speed of a cultivator. Naturally, it can greatly reduce the time needed to travel. However, Universe Boat is also more valuable in the universe. Even the lowest level Universe Boat cannot be bought by a third-level ruler who has gone bankrupt. I was lucky enough to kill a great being while adventuring in Eternal Dark Prison, and I got such a Universe Boat from him. Even though I only got the lowest level Universe Boat, and that Universe Boat is already largely broken, and many of the arrays on it are already broken, so I can't use it at all. It just so happens that I'm good at arrays. All these years, I've spent a lot of energy and means to restore a lot of the arrays on that Universe Boat. I've even taken into consideration the environment of Eternal Dark Prison, and I've specially added some other special arrays to make it travel within Eternal Dark Prison. Now, the Universe Boat may not be able to travel in the dark void space, but it can definitely travel in the Eternal Dark Prison. Of course, its speed is very fast. Ruler Spark was very confident in the universe boat. That's good. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. Now that my identity has been exposed, the remaining 8 emperors will probably hide in fear if they know my identity. The other 7 emperors will be fine, but Devil Scorpion Lord, I must get his principal true treasure. Demon Dragon, Stone Fire, you two follow me and set off immediately. We'll go to the Devil Scorpion territory to suppress Devil Scorpion Lord before he gets any news. Jian Wushuang said. Yes. Demon Dragon Lord and Ruler Spark nodded immediately. Emperor Sha, Yu Hongyi, and the others will go to the 9th Dark Area to meet Thousand Kills and the others. Then wait for me there, Jian Wushuang instructed. Master, what about the people around us? Emperor Sha suddenly asked. Jian Wushuang looked around. Nearly 10,000 cultivators had appeared at the same time. Although most of them had escaped, hundreds of them had not managed to escape in time. They were either suppressed by Jian Wushuang or captured by Demon Dragon Lord and the others. These people, Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold. He could tell at a glance that these people were not very strong. Many of them were only at the 2nd level master level. Of course, there were also many 3rd level masters, however, none of them were comparable to the strongest expert in the Dark Zone. Blood Sword Master, we are willing to submit and give up all our treasures. All we ask is that you spare our lives. Blood Sword Master, please spare our lives. Most of the suppressed cultivators were begging for mercy, but some were silent. I don't need trash around me. Kill all of them. Jian Wushuang's face was cold. Yes. Demon Dragon Lord and the others immediately took action. No! Blood Sword Master, you will die a horrible death. Blood Sword, you will die sooner or later, you will. Amidst the shrill roars and roars, hundreds of masters, who were at least at the peak of the 2nd level, were killed. As for the treasures and interspatial rings they left behind, they all fell into Jian Wushuang's hands. These people are the only things that are useful to me, or to the divine beginning realm. Jian Wushuang's eyes were cold, without the slightest bit of pity. His soul was of a lower level, so he could not leave a mark in the soul origin of too many people. Therefore, those who were qualified to be his servants must be elites, at least at the level of the strongest expert in the Dark Zone. And these people, none of them could reach that level. Moreover, most of these people were imprisoned because they had committed heinous crimes. Jian Wushuang would certainly not be merciful to them. He would kill them directly and deprive them of their confidence. These rulers who had survived in the eternal dark prison for so long were all of extraordinary value. Each of them had many supreme treasures in their hands. After killing hundreds of people in one go, Jian Wushuang instantly obtained a large number of supreme treasures. When he returned to the divine beginning realm, these supreme true treasures could also be left for the experts of the divine beginning realm to use. After killing these cultivators, Jian Wushuang quickly set off together with Demon Dragon Lord and Ruler Spark. He saw a huge black wooden boat speeding through the void. Its speed was dozens of times faster than the fastest speed of a 3rd level ruler. With such a terrifying speed, it was impossible to stop it. There was no way to stop it. It would take about 500 years to travel from the Demon Dragon Field to the Devil Scorpion Field. However, it only took 38 years for Jian Wushuang to arrive in the Devil Scorpion Field. In just 38 years, his identity had not spread throughout the Demon Dragon Field. In the hinterland of the Devil Scorpion Field, a huge black stone castle stood there. This huge black stone castle was where Devil Scorpion Lord lived. In the eternal dark prison, the environment and resources were limited. Although there were many large territories, there were no cities or buildings in these territories. Even if there were, most of them were stone castles or castles. Devil Scorpion Lord's castle was even larger than Demon Dragon Castle. Buzz! A huge universe boat appeared in the void outside the castle. 3 people came down from the universe boat. They were Jian Wushuang, Demon Dragon Lord, and Ruler Spark. Spark, your universe boat is really good, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. If Master likes it, just take it, Ruler Spark said with a smile. He did not feel reluctant at all. We'll see. Jian Wushuang just waved his hand and glanced at Demon Dragon Lord. Demon Dragon, your strength is similar to that of Devil Scorpion Lord, and you should be familiar with his divine power aura. See if he's in the stone castle. Yes. Demon Dragon Lord immediately stepped forward and spread his soul power. In an instant, all the auras in the huge stone castle were within his perception. In the deepest part of the stone castle, there was an extremely powerful aura, which was slightly stronger than Demon Dragon Lord's. Demon Dragon Lord could not help laughing when he sensed this aura. Master, the old scorpion is in the stone castle and hasn't left. It seems that he hasn't heard the news yet, Demon Dragon Lord said. That's good. Jian Wushuang smiled. He had rushed here as fast as he could because he was worried that Devil Scorpion Lord would get the news ahead of time and hide. The Eternal Dark Prison was vast, and the Devil Scorpion Field alone was large enough. If Devil Scorpion Lord hid, it would be difficult for him to find it. Then, he would have a hard time finding the principal treasures in Devil Scorpion Lord's hands, especially the 2 Heaven Suppression Tablets. Fortunately, he was fast enough, so Devil Scorpion Lord had not received any news yet. Master, the old scorpion has also sensed my presence and is coming toward us, Demon Dragon Lord said. Let's go and meet Devil Scorpion Lord, Jian Wushuang said with a faint smile. Jian Wushuang rushed forward with Demon Dragon Lord. As for Ruler Spark, he was waiting quietly on the universe boat. Soon, Jian Wushuang met Devil Scorpion Lord. Devil Scorpion Lord was covered in a layer of black armor. His hair was messy, his nose was sunken, and there were black secret patterns around his eyes. The black secret patterns looked like scales and looked extremely ferocious. Devil Scorpion Lord looked extremely ugly. Demon Dragon, why are you here today? Devil Scorpion Lord squinted and stared at Demon Dragon Lord. He did not pay much attention to Jian Wushuang. Old Scorpion, I'm here today to introduce you to someone, Demon Dragon Lord said with a smile. Introduce you to someone? The one beside you? The principal's master. Devil Scorpion Lord looked surprised. Yes, it's my master, Bloodsword Master, Demon Dragon Lord said with a smile. Master! Devil Scorpion Lord was shocked. Devil Scorpion Lord. Jian Wushuang looked at Devil Scorpion Lord with a smile. With a flip of his right hand, he took out the token of the Red Cloud branch.